Streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus, it's an all-new season of Mayor of Kingstown. Academy Award nominee Jeremy Renner returns as Mike McCluskey, an ex-con fighting to keep peace, both inside and outside the prison walls of Kingstown, as he faces off with the new warden, played by Emmy Award winner Edie Falco. Mayor of Kingstown, new season streaming October 26th on Paramount Plus.
The thought of getting a degree can be straight up terrifying, we get it. But Southern New Hampshire University makes it easier than you'd think. They have over 200 degrees you can earn online. No set class times, so your social life stays alive and well. And low online tuition that won't scare your bank account. College doesn't have to be a horror story. Visit snhu.edu/lastpodcast to get started. That's snhu.edu/lastpodcast.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Oh, today, I just want to say, before we even begin, thank you to Votan for allowing me to have the white strength in order to do this show. If it wasn't for
Votan, he's the bootleg transformer?
That's actually, it's a big bone of contention. It's a big bone of contention because the one thing he does not like being at all is unified with anything.
Yeah.
So Votan really does not enjoy the whole pageantry of the other racial monsters that show up to create him.
Yeah. Ah, yes.
Yes, but Votan, what up? Thanks again for making me pink. It's nice to be on your planet Earth. And man, oh man, I sure hope you put another Christ out there for us to destroy as a puppet of your unwillingness to sacrifice yourself.
Well, once Greta becomes a man, she will be that Christ.
Oh, Greta, my sweet Votan's bride.
Welcome to the last podcast on the left. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marcus Parks. I'm here with Votan's number one boy, Henry Zabrowski.
It's me, tee. I'm looking for all the greatness in every rock that might look like an ox. That's a deep cut. We'll talk about what that means. That's a deep cut.
Well, I know exactly what you mean.
I don't.
And with us, the man who knows nothing, Ed Larson.
That's right. I'm Votan's 420th man.
Taylor Swift is definitely Hitler's grandniece, right?
Yeah, who are great-grandniece, I believe.
There's no way she's not. She's selling new SS necklaces.
Is she?
Have you seen this thing?
I have not.
She took them off her website. They're lightning bolt necklaces.
With
two double lightning bolt necklaces?
They're next to each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
People are upset about it,
It's
but
an 8-pointed star
But
and
again,
lightning bolt necklace.
Himmler would have so many notes for this necklace that, to be honest, I think Taylor Swift should be ashamed.
Yeah, because him. Oh, that's I don't know.
It's loose.
I don't think it is. I
I
definitely think it's a mistake. But man, you gotta check your notes.
No, exactly. Himmler would look at this and be like, "How about we double them up?"
I'm willing to bet that the person who designed this was far more inspired by Bowie than Himmler. But
This
looking
person
at it, holy shit, it looks like Nazi jewelry. That looks like something that's like in the German museum in the bad section.
The only thing that we just can count on is the lack of education of the Zoomers, and that's what has led to this.
Yeah.
So here we are for Heinrich Himmler, Part 4.
Woo!
So when we last left Heinrich Himmler, the year was 1934, and everything was very unfortunately going Himmler's way.
Everything's coming up, Himmler.
You'll be swell. You'll be great. I got the whole Reich on my plate. That's fun.
Starting here, starting now, honey. Every Jew's counted.
The concentration camps were becoming an essential feature of the Third Reich. Those were, of course, Heinrich Himmler's creation. The Gestapo was under Himmler's direct command. That's the German secret police. And the Night of the Long Knives had both destroyed any internal opposition within the Nazi Party, and it had tricked the German people into thinking that the Nazi chaos had passed. And so, with Germany firmly in Nazi control, Heinrich Himmler and the rest of the Nazis were free to reshape the country in their own image without opposition, using a framework that was directly inspired by the pseudoscientific and pseudo-historical authors that Himmler and Hitler had loved so much.
So if they were doing it in Himmler's image, it would be a Cabbage Patch doll with half a shaved head.
Yeah. Yes, it would look like a hungover worm.
Well, according to the Nazi leaders' very selective reading of history, only one race fit into the category of the so-called founders of culture. These founders were the entirely fictional creation of various fever-brained German racists. They were the tall, willowy, flaxen-haired Aryans of Northern Europe. But going off those feverish fictional accounts, Hitler and his ilk believed that only the Aryans had the genius necessary to create civilization and its byproducts like music, literature, agriculture, architecture. It was the Aryans, according to the Nazis, who had single-handedly advanced all of humankind with their unparalleled brilliance.
And that honestly really kind of speaks to the fact that I left several one-star reviews on every single The Weeknd album because it never featured a tuba. Yeah. And I don't really know what music is without a tuba.
That's all they have is tuba.
This is also...
And the accordion.
Yeah, and the accordion.
Yeah.
But you also...
Beautiful noises.
You see, you say selective reading. I'm actually now my last little jump into this whole fun world of this ideology. It's more of a... And I hate to say this, Marcus. They were lying about a lot of stuff. Yeah. They made up a lot of things, Marcus.
Yeah.
They saw stuff on walls and cave walls and just kind of said it was giant Aryans versus the Jews, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think that Aryans built the fucking pyramids.
Yeah, dude, without SPF 100?
Now, Heinrich Himmler, of course, believed in the Aryan myth as well. But the difference between Himmler and Hitler is that Adolf Hitler's belief in all this shit was more surface level. Hitler liked these ideas because they were useful for his ultimate goal of restarting the Great War. So the details didn't really matter. In fact, for Hitler, the details could be kind of embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. Because guess what the details found out? It's all brown people.
Yeah.
Every single thing you wished white people did, it was done by brown people first.
Yeah, and all of the details of the cosmology and all the details of, Atlantis and all that. Like Hitler has to go and hang out with the king of Italy and impress him as a commoner, and he doesn't want to carry all this baggage. And also, did you know we're from Atlantis? Yeah. That's great, right?
Yeah, I had flippers.
Yeah.
Do you know how I had flippers and then they were taken from me?
It is crazy because Atlantis famously failed. If it existed.
Well, that's the thing, is that there's a reason why Atlantis failed, and it's a big part of the Holocaust. Himmler, however, as opposed to Hitler, he was all about the details, and his deep, unassailable belief in the myths created by the aforementioned Volkisch movement, they informed his every decision. Inspired by these beliefs, Heinrich Himmler used his main guys, the SS, as a sort of petri dish to game out a lot of the ideas put forth by his favorite right-wing pseudoscientists and pseudo-historians. This was all in service to expanding his long-held fantasies in which Germany was destined to grow into a race of purebred Aryan warrior farmers who would eventually rule the globe.
This fucking Bible fan fiction is so annoying.
Honestly,
it's beyond that.
Out.
It's way beyond the Bible. In fact,
Bible's
it's
too Jewish.
Yeah, Bible's way too Jewish. Yeah. I mean, there is definitely some things that they take from the Bible. Like the Great Flood is a really big part of it, like the antediluvian shit. Like that's a very big part of it.
Do you want me to get into positive Christianity?
Oh, no.
It's a whole thing. We'll figure, honestly, it's not this episode. It's a later episode, unfortunately.
Now, Himmler's never-ending obsession with racial purity was especially on display in the way that he developed the SS, and it actually prevented him from making the SS as large of an organization as it could have been. After Himmler took on a fair amount of Ernst Röhm's SA men after the Night of the Long Knives, Himmler purged the SS of some 60,000 men for not being Aryan enough, which brought the ranks of the SS down to what Himmler believed was an elite group of 200,000 Aryans. Now, these men were expected to be first and foremost Aryan perfection when it came to surface-level looks, because Himmler was obsessed with surrounding himself with beautiful, blonde young men who met his very fussy standards.
Big, pink-nippled, golden. You ever seen...
I don't like the small nipples on the men. I think that Aryan should have the big puffy nipples.
Big, puffy nipples, like beautiful German breasts. Have you ever seen blonde pubes?
No.
Right?
No.
That's how you know you're Aryan.
Wow.
If you have blonde pubes, like literally, like not to be like this, Marilyn Monroe in your pants, that is going to, like, it's so hard. If your pubes have a sheen and a bounce to them, you're Aryan material all the way, baby.
Dye them.
You
Shave
could.
them.
Yeah.
If you shave them, they come back different every time.
But these men in the SS were also expected to be physically fit. This was merely an extension of the overall Nazi milieu, because physical fitness had become a nationwide obsession.
If you go a little bit through more like, you know, the Volk like lifestyle, did you ever hear about the paintings of Fidus?
I did not.
The paintings of Fidus hung in many, many rural German like homes. And it was one of those proto super racist things that now we know is a massive dog whistle.
Yeah.
Like if you had it in your home, you would eventually become a Nazi ostensibly.
Sure.
And Fidus loved painting naked German boys. Worshipping the sun. And so it's this idea of a free-flowing, blonde-locked, naked boy being caressed, his buttocks, his tender buttocks, his little prepubescent penis and balls being caressed by the light of the sun.
This really has nothing to do with what I just said.
But it's about this idea of physical fitness. They view this is all of the taking it back to the homeland, the pure body of the German man, the Germanic person was just like, he was taught and he jumped from tree to tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Goring showed that with his physical fatness.
Yes.
Well, that's what was ironic about all of this, is because the Germans were obsessed with health and obsessed with physical fitness and obsessed with presenting this ideal body. It's ironic when you consider the physical shape of the Nazi leaders. Hitler was dumpy and disheveled. Goebbels was a fucking living skeleton. And Goring, he looked like a fucking pig that had been turned into a human by a witch's curse.
Unfortunately, I'm becoming a bit of a Goring head. And what a fashion sense, though.
Oh, man.
Wow, when he wore that periwinkle blue suit for all those Nazis, wow, he must have been, that's bravery.
He looked like Otho in Beetlejuice.
Yes! I didn't even realize that. Yes!
So did they ever get all the generals together and tell them they were too fat?
No, they never had the balls.
No, they never did. Now, Heinrich Himmler was, of course, no different from the rest of the Nazi leaders in his lack of physical fitness. Himmler was a nerd, a bookworm, but he nevertheless tried to keep up with the jocks that made up the majority of the SS. See, Himmler had instituted strict physical requirements for SS members, and the SS officers who were at the top of their game could earn a special SS sports badge by completing a grueling physical routine. Himmler actually once tried to run the routine himself.
Lift me up! Lift me up! Up! To my sides, officers! Up the rope I go!
But his pigeon-shaped reader's body performed so poorly that his assistants had to eventually just tell him that he met all the necessary standards, just so Himmler would stop humiliating himself. Because your boss is in front of you struggling to get through an obstacle course. You have to go like, Heinrich, and also, by the way, do you know what what the English version of Heinrich is?
It's Henry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know, yeah.
Heinrich, please just cool it.
I'm stuck in this trash can.
And you know what? Being stuck in the trash can is the way you win the bread. Here you go.
I know. I'm the meanest, best Nazi in the whole wide world. Thank you.
It's like him just running, trying to do it. And everyone's like, hey, you did it.
Yeah.
Hey, congrats. Hey, you did it. Yeah. I can't believe you completed it so fast.
That's what's great about not really giving a shit about anything, is that you'll take that as a win.
The Aryan appearance and physical fitness of the SS was merely the base requirements for Himmler's ultimate fantasy involving his men. But it must not be forgotten that the SS, even through all of this goofy shit, they were some of the cruelest, most brutal people to ever walk this earth. See, Himmler envisioned the SS as a group of medieval knights who were both deeply religious and chivalrous, dedicated to the goals of conquest and conversion, men like the Knights of the Crusades. For his own part, Himmler was obsessed with being the leader of these Teutonic Knights, the Grand Master.
Do you not believe that there is part of this is a function of ruling over people that would be considered your physical superior?
Perhaps.
I actually sometimes wonder if that's a part of what you see, which is that Heinrich Himmler likes the power position of telling built, vicious men what to do, and then he gets a little extra hard being able to do that, and they can't do anything at him because he's the leader.
Yeah, I mean, well, Heinrich Himmler always did want to project himself as this sort of manly man. You know, he wanted to be amongst the tough boys in Germany. Like when we talked in the first episode about the fencing,
yes,
we didn't quite get what it actually was, what fencing in Germany at the time actually was, what it involved.
It's the dumbest shit you've ever seen.
It's so incredibly stupid. I mean, it really just involves Germans cutting each other's faces.
They slap each other with swords, with sharpened rapiers. This is why at first we didn't bring it up, because I thought it was just fencing.
Like Olympic fencing.
Yes, but then it turns out this style of fencing was entirely different, and it was a shallow exercise in getting men face scars so that they can look tough later on, which is why so many Nazis had facial scars, because they purposely got facial scars in their fencing schools in order to look scary.
Oh, it's like when a rapper gets shot for cred.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. During these fencing competitions, they would actually have the quote unquote competitions. They would actually have doctors on site to make the scars worse, because they wanted to look tough. That's why so many Nazis are fucking covered in scars.
Dude, have you seen, and then the doctor come in, I was watching footage of one of these actual old fights, and then the doctor's the scariest man you've ever seen. Because he's covered in fencing scars. And you see him coming up going like, yes, we'll get you back to right good. You know what I mean? Like,
is there another guy? Do we have another
and he's just like, his eyes like on backwards, you know, and he's just like, yeah, they're good.
Yeah. And so, yes, I do think there is definitely something with Himmler wanting to be considered a man, like he is the leader of the manly men, even without having to actually do any of the things that are required to actually be a quote-unquote manly man.
Because they're very hard and very dangerous.
Yes. But concerning Himmler's fantasies, in the end, what knight fantasy is complete without an actual castle? So to complete the dream, Himmler found his Camelot at a castle named Wewelsburg, located in an out-of-the-way location in northwestern Germany. The foundations of Castle Wewelsburg dated back to the 14th century, but its isolation made it easy for Himmler to use slave labor from a nearby concentration camp to accomplish the incredible amount of remodeling that the place needed. After Himmler's vision was realized, he made Wewelsburg the place where he could truly let all of his occult fantasies run wild.
Like, that's when I go to Club Met.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Lots of candles, lots of sage. Wewelsburg is it's an interesting thing, because this is a thing that Nazis would do. The Nazis would take old buildings and they would turn them into kind of like new strongholds. And then now we're also seeing the advent of like Albert Speer doing the giant religious style, like this idea of we're going to live in eternity.
Yeah.
Because that's the key here, is that the castle connects the Nazis to ancient times, but then the castle will stand, quote unquote, forever to bring the Nazis into future times.
The 1,000-Year Reich.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's what all of this stuff's always about, is building a thing that is so hard to destroy that it'll be there forever.
Yeah, and they always put it on the top of a mountain, right? Like closer to God type of thing.
Well,
So-
this one was already on one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is building on the foundations of what's already there. But Hitler's his retreat, the Berghof or something I think that's what it was called. Yeah, it was on top of a mountain as well. That's where all the Nazis would go to hang out and have their fun weekends together, where nobody's to talk about the Jews because they
Give us a break.
Actually, well, no, they thought it was gauche to talk about the final solution when they were on vacation.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, it's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live from your grave.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform designed to help you stand out and succeed online, whether you're just starting out or growing your business. But you don't want to grow your business too fast, because then people will get jealous and they will take your business out from underneath you by buying your URLs and selling them to others at cheaper prices, just to mock me. Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid. I'm about to make a website in which you have to register in order to make a horse-based website, and then I will have to approve it for you to even be allowed to use it. How about that? How about this point, I take away animal-based creative business opportunities from all of you, and I take your horse-based URLs, and I take your emo-based URLs, and I put them in the trash. What if I put them in the trash using my own powerful Squarespace-driven website made for me, by me, all right? Through the powers of Squarespace, the unadulterable powers of Squarespace. I love my experience. It's been a great experience. The problem has been everybody stealing my swerve. It's my websites. They were my... Emo Paintings was mine. It was mine. But now, under animalurlsregister.com, all of you will come under the powerful thumb of Henry Zebrowski, fueled by the bullets of Squarespace. Check out squarespace.com/left for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code LEFT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS, no! Plans start at $15 a month at Mint. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Say no to getting another phone. Say no to paying more for your cell phone bill, because every day I wake up and I scream. First thing I scream, honestly, each morning, no! And then I realize, oh, what? That's actually amazing. I don't need to say no in this way. I've already said no to high billing because I work with Mint Mobile. So now I can go, no! At everything else. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's mintmobile.com/LPOTL. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Can a home security system really call itself security if it only responds once someone is already inside? I don't know. Simply Safe is different. It's designed to help stop crime before it starts. At the maternity ward where the criminals are born. AI-powered cameras detect threats while they are still outside your home and alert real security agents. All right? They confront the intruder saying, hey, Buster Brown. They'll all be like, hey, Buster Brown, you leave that grass alone. Hey, Mr. Man, that's where the dog is, right? That's what those guys are going to say. And I'll say Simply Safe has really done wonderful things for us here at LPN. They've kept all of our words here safe. Far safer than the current administration keeps our words. So they're really thinking about us, okay? So go get Simply Safe. Protect yourself from everybody else. Right now, my listeners can save 50% on a Simply Safe home security system at simplysafe.com/LPOTL. That's simplysafe.com/LPOTL. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now, Himmler's castle was run as a sort of monastery where privileged SS men, Himmler's top knights, so to speak, could use it for retreats. Unfortunately for the SS men, though, these retreats were all planned by Himmler, who would force his men to participate in weekends that were half LARPing and half pseudo-historical study.
Oh, I hate when a nerd owns the timeshare.
Right? We all gotta go to school. I thought we were drinking natty lights and finding whores.
But I guess we don't have to do what I want to do. It's just, I paid for it. It's fine, if the group doesn't want to. It's just,
That's absolutely fine. It just seems that it would be a total waste of the grail room. But
yeah.
That is fine.
The thing is that Himmler did, in the end, create a perfect atmosphere to make all of his bullshit seem real. In the remodel, Himmler had the entire castle complex adorned with runic designs that would set the mood. But the castle centerpiece was the Grail Room. See, Himmler and his followers were obsessed with King Arthur. It's not just an Indiana Jones thing. That shit was real.
Can I also say why? It's because they considered them to be like the pinnacle of white people.
Yeah.
And so they assumed that the other pinnacle of white people, according to them, of the height of the dynasties of England and UK, would be has to connect to Nazis.
Yeah.
So they looked up to the Brits.
In a way.
The
old white people, they looked up to the Celts.
Well, and it's about separating the medieval from the modern. You know, it's like because they can always kind of put a stop point on anything and say, and that's the moment when the Jews took over that country, and that's the moment when the races became too mixed, and so they can pick a moment, whatever moment they want, and say everything before that was great and we love it, but that's a moment. Nah, I don't like that.
Yeah, because they didn't like the fact that they had built a whole thing that white aliens from space came down, fucked animals here, and made Jewish people and black people. Like, that's kind of like one of the big things. That was one of the big issues when Earth went wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
Well, Himmler's followers believed that the Holy Grail was a magical stone of light that had fallen from the jeweled headband of an ancient sun god. If one were to merely look upon this stone, Himmler believed, that man would live forever.
The power of immortality.
It's such a lazy way to become immortal.
Hey, you want to be immortal? Look at this rock. Got you.
Now, Himmler was counting on his assumption that the Grail would be found once the war finally began. So he constructed a room in his castle with a large rock crystal in the center, illuminated from the bottom with electrical lights for effect. This would be where the Grail would one day be kept and utilized by only the most select of SS men.
Wewelsburg will never reach full potential. And largely it's because of how the war turned out. But we got to remember, every single time they do something like this, the reason why Himmler's doing this is not for now. It's for after.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be for after the war when Nazism has conquered everything.
Yeah.
And now this is the capital of Nazism.
And today, Wewelsburg is one of the largest youth hostels in Europe, which means it's just full of people of every single race, color, and creed.
Yeah, people just cornholing each other and doing whippets.
Now, since Himmler had, in effect, built a secret clubhouse for the SS, it was only logical that the clubhouse would be followed by all the rituals and accoutrements that go along with most secret societies.
Because why are you doing it in the first place if you're not going to have the cool shit?
Exactly.
It's a frat house.
Yeah.
Yeah. These trappings, of course, only bound... Well, I would actually say that the concentration camps are closer to frat houses than Wewelsburg is.
Yeah.
Like, Wewelsburg is more like...
Well, they have a lot of ice luges? I did a lot of...
Yeah.
Do they have
initiating
Jaeger?
process.
They have a lot of Jaeger there?
Well, it's like I was talking about last week in Dachau. Like, there was the frat boy atmosphere. That was... the concentration camps.
Yeah.
Wewelsburg was, I guess, more of a Bohemian Grove type thing. Like, it was where you went to do very serious things.
It was
like,
Vatican City. It was the heart of the holy part of the Nazi Empire.
Yeah, Vatican City. That would be a great comparison.
Club 33.
Yeah.
Thank you. To translate to the Disney adults.
Well, these trappings, the accoutrements and the rituals, they only bound Himmler's men further to the SS, making them far more amenable to carrying out the atrocities that Hitler would ask them to commit in just a few short years. And as it goes with secret societies, it also gave the men in the lower ranks of the SS a goal to work towards. For example, every SS man with a membership number less than 2,000 had been gifted a death's head ring by Himmler, which made them all feel very cool and very special. But if you joined after number 2,000, you could earn a ring by becoming a leader in the SS, and earning that spot usually meant that you had done or were willing to do horrible shit. To further drive home that violence was at the heart of everything, Himmler also presented SS leaders with ceremonial daggers every November 9th.
My mom's birthday.
Wow! Get couple, and then 2 days, day
Let's
before.
get her a dagger.
Yeah!
Day before my wedding anniversary as well.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
2 days after Tootsie's birthday. We could do this all day.
Yeah. November 9th is also the anniversary of the founding of the SS.
Wow!
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom! I know what I'm getting her this year.
And during the presentation, Himmler would say this.
I confer on you the sword of the SS. Never draw it without need. Never sheath it without honor. Preserve
your own honor as unconditionally as you are committed to respecting the honor of others and to acting chivalrously to defend the defenseless.
Yeah.
Yes,
Means
Definitely.
nothing.
Yeah, because they don't defend the defense. It's all horseshit. He's saying a knightly thing to them to, again, this is all a part of an indoctrination process.
Yeah, and this whole idea of like you're defending the defenseless is in Nazi ideology, and the way the Nazis look at the world and the way they look at Germany is that they're all defenseless and that they've all been put upon and they've all been attacked for thousands upon thousands of years. They have this persecution complex because that's the only way that works.
Yeah, it's so contradictory because if they're defenseless, then why are they the master race?
Well, the idea is they carry it's holding the two in your hand. Part about fascism is that it does not have to make sense.
Yeah.
Well, also, I think I made some sense out of the rings. I'll tell you that much. First 2,000 get rings. He was like, oh shit, we're running out of rings. He's like, oh, you got to do something special if you want to ring. Right?
Yeah. Let me see if I have any around. Yeah. It's like merch. Maybe it's like beer koozies.
The whole thing's merch.
It is. But concerning, the whole the thing that like seems like it's a contradiction with the master race, it's not. It's actually
a feature, yeah.
It's a feature of it because the thing is about the Nazis, I think I said earlier, is like there is an engine, there's a motor within every Nazi, and especially within Hitler and within Himmler, is that yes, we are the master race, and we've got to do everything we can to get back on top because we've been knocked down. And those people over there, the Jews, they're so powerful that they have even managed to knock the master race down, but we got to get back up again, and we got to do it as fast as we possibly can. We can never stop moving. We can never stop working towards that goal. So yeah, feature. Now, Heinrich Himmler was obviously taking a lot of inspiration from the Crusades with his knight fantasies, which the Crusades were a decidedly Christian undertaking.
Yes.
But that did not mean that Himmler was inspired by or was even tolerant of Christianity itself. In fact, just like fellow top Nazi Joseph Goebbels, Heinrich Himmler absolutely despised Christianity.
And we did talk a little bit about so yes, there was obviously a lot of Christianity in Germany. And yes, Martin Luther came from it. What we were trying to even talk about is the idea that what Germany had specifically was a bunch of nomadic cultures that all had their own set of folk beliefs mixed in with whatever Christian stuff that's also sort of mixed in. Yes, there were Christian enclaves, but the heart of the Germanic people was kind of still this vaguely up for grabs, kind of like a lot of the Christian stuff failed and a lot of it succeeded. So it's really just where you found yourself, but you're also sitting next to all of these like magical ancient Germanic things that you're supposed to then consider.
Yeah, I'm well aware, of course, that Austria was a very Catholic country. Going to get to that later. But if you listen to what I actually said, perhaps I can say it fucking again, is that the Germans did not take to Christianity as much as
the others.
Yes. Like the Italians or the English.
But that's what left a wide... This is why we're even talking about the occult angle of the Nazis again, is because they took that gap and filled it, because that was an extremely important part of the lore for the thing to last for 3,000 years. The key here is that Nazism's supposed to last forever. When this is over, Nazism's supposed to, once Nazism hits the world, they believe the whole world is going to be so excited to accept Nazism. So they think that this is just the beginning of a new thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're building something.
It's the beginning of like the shit that people say like today, and have even been saying for the last few decades, is like, you know what? You're just thinking it. I'm actually saying it.
Yeah.
And that's what the Nazis think, is that like once they think once they get to America, they're like, oh shit, look at how racist America is. They're going to love us once we get there. Like we just have to get through a few people who we have to get rid of the communists and the Jews. And once we do that, then the whole world's going to love it. Yeah. Well, Himmler's vision for the future of Germany was a completely de-Christianized country that had ancient ties to both the lost continent of Atlantis and the mythical Tibetan civilization of Shambhala. And that is 100% true.
Yep.
These advanced civilizations, Himmler believed, had been destroyed or corrupted by the Jews, and the Nazis were the only remnants of their bloodlines left.
Because there's always white people in the Indian Ocean, and there's always white people in the mountains of Tibet. Mm-hmm. Because they believed that during the flood, that was is the only high ground.
Well, but that's the other thing too. You're also making a logical fallacy here. Is that Aryan does not necessarily equal white?
Correct.
Like that is in their view, Aryan does not necessarily mean white.
But they're looking for white seeds.
They're definitely looking for that. Yeah. They want it.
Well,
because
they had to say that to get the Japanese on board.
Sure.
I guess. That's actually one of those things that I know very little about and we will one day do, because I do feel like that's the Japanese side of it. I only know so much about it.
Yeah.
I don't really know how everybody got in bed together.
Yeah, that's for another time. Yeah. But as to why that bloodline did not continue indefinitely, the bloodline from Atlantis and Tibet, Himmler partly blamed that on the Teutonic conversion from paganism to Christianity, which was considered by Himmler to be history's greatest sin. In his view, even though Charlemagne the Great had begun the First Reich with the founding of the Holy Roman Empire, Charlemagne's Christianity had prevented so-called Germanic virtues from unfolding to their full potential during the medieval age. Now, Himmler was born and raised Catholic, but once he learned that Christianity had its origins in the Middle East and that Jesus was logically a dark-skinned Jewish man, Himmler chose the ideas of the Volkisch pseudo-historians over his childhood faith.
He just had to wait a little while, and then they would make Jesus into a Nordic Amorite that was a wizard that destroyed other rabbis.
You could do that, too.
Yeah, that's all you got to do, buddy.
Yeah, but Himmler, that's the thing. I will say this. Principled. You can say nothing else about Heinrich Himmler. Extraordinarily principled.
Stuck to his guns.
Yeah. And additionally, once Himmler began forming his own internal morality, he found that the core tenets of actual Christianity, charity, compassion, brotherhood, the equality in the eyes of God, these were completely antithetical to Nazi ideology in every way.
This house chooses racial purity. This home embraces Hyperborean qualities. Our Jesus is white.
Now, in Himmler's mind, there was no way to square Christianity with Nazism, because Himmler, as I said, was far too principled to use the Project 2025 method of ignoring or twisting anything in the Bible that was inconvenient to his own goals. So instead of using mental gymnastics to fit Christianity into his own morality, Himmler adapted Volkisch ideas to create a religion that, in the words of one author, sprang from the forests of Germany. Under Himmler's guidance, Nazism would have a state religion and a god that had ideally been worshipped by the ancient tribal Germans.
Which is, there wasn't one.
Yeah.
It was all over the place. That's what paganism is.
Yeah. Now, Himmler was smart enough to know that he couldn't just come out and tell the men of the SS, like, hey, we're worshiping the sun now. Get with the fucking program.
Everybody shuts up and play volleyball. That's what they're doing. New sports volleyball.
Yeah. I mean, remember, like, Zeno doesn't come into Scientology until you're OT8. You can't start with the hard shit.
You got to be stuck on that line.
Yeah. So, to slow roll first his men and eventually all of Germany into his new belief system, Himmler wrapped the rituals that he created in Christian clothing in order to wean the SS off their Christian faith. For example, Himmler believed that he could use sun worship to replace Christian rites like Easter and Christmas. For the summer, Himmler planned a solstice festival to celebrate life, while the winter would be marked with a similar solstice festival to remember the dead and honor their ancestors.
It's like playing a game with a child and they just keep changing the rules so they win.
The problem is that a lot of times that child can't send you to a concentration camp.
Yeah. What if it could?
I know. Oh, don't tell me. If you put a bunch of children together and told them they were in charge, the children would become Nazis. I know that they would. Have you ever seen children on a playground in elementary school?
You know, they actually do describe when the pogroms first began in Germany and in Czechoslovakia, like they described the children as some of the most terrifying people around when it came to, like, they would, like, you would see a pack of children chasing a Jewish man down the street so they could take, and they would, like, overtake him like fucking, like, just like a bunch of fucking animals. They overtake him, like, and stamp him. They would have sticks and just beat him.
I started watching a thing, but I knew I wanted to wait till the end of the series, but it talks all about that, about the deprogramming of the children of Nazi Germany is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
You couldn't just beat him?
That was the first go.
But that's what that's what led to it in the first place.
Oh.
That was the whole. That was how the Germans were so inured to violence, was because they had been beaten their entire childhoods, and they were like, "Oh yeah, violence is fine."
What if we put them in camps?
But they're day camps, and we do things like we take canoes, and they play javelin, and they make friendship bracelets.
The problem is a little thing called denazification. You can actually listen to our series, the No Dogs in Space series on Can, for more on that. We actually went quite deep into denazification.
Hell yeah.
But it's a whole thing. Now, once the ritual train got rolling, Himmler drew upon his Catholic heritage to come up with a whole host of customs and practices that would replace the Christian rituals that surrounded birth, marriage, and death. These rituals were then forced upon Himmler's men in the SS, who practiced them dutifully and proudly. Marriage ceremonies in Himmler's new religion, for example, would start with quotes from Hitler's speeches, followed by quotes from Friedrich Nietzsche's Thus Spake Zarathustra, and a short speech from a local SS leader.
Wow, that's so romantic.
Oh, you think that's romantic?
Did you not like it when I read The Power of the Will at your wedding? Did you not like that when I read Student Garden at your wedding?
So Himmler's basically a comedy booker.
Yeah. This does.
He already looks like Joe List if he didn't eat vegetables.
Yeah, got his fucking ass. Got the poorest one, Eddie. You just roasted the poorest one of that whole pack.
All right, Joe.
Well, if you think all that's romantic, the bride and groom would then light a candle as a sign of the commencement of a new Germanic bloodline.
That's why I did not do the candle ceremony, actually, in yours. I was going to do it, and then I found it had some bad roots.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for cross-referencing that. But at the end, instead of a kiss to seal the union, SS marriages would be marked with a hearty handshake.
I gotta say, wife, it's been a great time, and I can't wait to kill some Jews with you.
Put her there!
I love you, Morgan.
Well, the handshake was to commit themselves. It would commemorate a commitment to a shared life that worked solely towards the furtherance of the Nazi state. Once the handshake was done, the marriage ceremony ended with everyone present signing the SS Anthem of Loyalty. And if Heinrich Himmler deemed the marriage important enough to attend, he would gift the couple a pair of silver goblets.
Boring.
So much merch.
Now, once that newly wedded SS officer impregnated his wife in an act of functional Aryan sexual congress, the Nazi couple...
I can literally see me one of those where he has to put like the thermometer in her pussy to see if she's ovulating and stuff like that, you know?
Oh, yeah. The Nazi couple would begin preparations for the inevitable birthing ceremony.
Yay!
Instead of a Christian baptism, a child would have a name consecration ceremony at an altar draped in a swastika flag under a picture of Hitler in a room decorated with black SS flags and Nordic runes. Nothing says baby like runes.
So cute.
The child would then be laid before the altar, and those present would speak excerpts from Mein Kampf aloud. Although the Nazis by this point, and actually this was a new piece of information for me, they had actually started working excerpts from Mein Kampf into song. They had started making their own basically their own hymns. And once finished with the Mein Kampf, whether it was spoken or sung...
This is where Himmler should have come in, because you'd been like, oh, child, that's not how you sing a song. That's not how you sing a song, child. You got to clap your hands, child.
Well, once finished with the Mein Kampf, the consecrator would say,
"We believe in the God of the universe and in the mission of a German blood that grows eternally young from the German soil. We believe in the nation, the bearer of this blood, and in the Führer whom God has given us."
Well, that sounded just like praise music.
Yes.
That sounded like Christian. It sounded like a Christian song.
Now, child, now you're praising the Lord. Now you're singing. That's how I like to get you. Move your feet back and forth. Find the rhythm of the bass drum.
Then, at long last, Heinrich Himmler himself would step in and present the baby with a silver cup and a silver spoon.
Here's your cup.
Here's your spoon, along with a large blue sash to commemorate the occasion.
If the kid was Jewish, you'd be like, what, no fork?
This is my VR, so we eliminate the rice.
I'm just saying, if it's just a spoon, it's not like I have soup for every meal.
I also will say there's
what kind of person you think? I just eat matzo ball soup every meal? No, I have many different things. It's a varied and wide menu for the Jewish people. Jesus. Himmler's hatred of Christianity and its brown origins were not his only motivation to create a Nazi religion. There was also, of course, his hatred of the Jews and the ever-important concept of Lebensraum. Himmler, however, had very cleverly worked out a way to link these two things together. In fact, it was essential that he link these two things together. See, to Himmler, Hitler, and the rest, the Jewish people were the so-called destroyers of culture.
Fuck, they are culture.
You have to understand, like
we know this,
but Nazis do a thing. You have to remember, it seems vaguely familiar right now. They say things that are opposite. They do it specifically. Think about Joy Division. Think about these things that they do to make you think you're doing something good. They call it something good, so you're saying good words. You're saying National Socialist. You're saying these things that would make sense. They make sense in other concepts and in other contexts. They remove the context, they change the context, and now you're a different person.
Yeah, I just can't listen to that hippity hop music.
Nope.
Yeah. And the Nazis are also, it's like, and this is, very much, and I guess influenced by Himmler's just general way of being, is that the Nazis, once they get into power, they become the arbiters of culture. They become the ones who say what is culture and what isn't. Like there was even, I think Goebbels put on like an exhibition that was what did he call it? Like it was something not deviant art, of course.
Because Goebbels was the one taking all the deviant art and hoarding it and fucking doing all the shit. It was like Picasso and all those things, all the Impressionists.
Yeah, all the like Max Ernst. It was I can't remember what it was, but yeah, they came in and they said this is what culture is and this is what culture isn't, and it just so happened that a lot of the culture that they hated was created by Jewish people. Yeah, or people who were just fucking groovy.
Were they just assigned, or they just decided they had too much Jew thought in them?
Yes, that was also something that would be talked about. Well, the Jewish people were seen as the eternal foil to the Aryans, and the Nazis believed that the sole aim of the Jews was to undermine and corrupt the culture of other races, simply because that was the nature of the Jew. In fact, the Nazis looked at the whole Jewish question from a natural perspective, which is extremely important to understand, because it allowed the Nazis to speak about the Jewish people in terms that they believed were reasonable. Nazis would very coldly and condescendingly say that you cannot blame a snake for being a snake. I think that you would use the word basilisk. But you would also not allow a snake to live in your home.
Some people have lots of snakes. I know snake people.
Well, if you were to say that, then they would say, well, if you were in a hotel and the bed was full of bed bugs, you would not take a single bed bug and say, this is a good bed bug. You would merely exterminate all of the bed bugs.
I just have a hard time finding bed bugs.
Well, now you're just arguing with me for the sake of arguing.
Well, no, I'm arguing with a Nazi.
Yeah. and I will say, like, since time has gone on, there's plenty of people with swastikas that have snakes in their house.
They do really seem to be together.
They really do. No, now that you mention it. But the point is that they were trying to use nature as a way to say that all Jews were dangerous. You can't say this Jew is one of the good ones. You cannot take an individual one. They all must be eliminated because they are all fundamentally the same, just as all snakes are fundamentally the same. But the flip side of that is that the Nazis also looked at themselves from a natural perspective and from an animalistic perspective. But once you make yourself an animal and you make everybody animals, you're very much prone to do some very awful shit to other people.
Well, it's having the veneer of civility.
Yes.
Every single time they have an opportunity, is having this idea that we are having a civil, science-based conversation about all things. Everything must be, and that's why when they say the destroyers of culture, we're the creators of culture, they're legitimately creating the culture. Like they are just saying they're doing the opposite. They're destroying the other culture and creating a new culture.
What if the snake was uncircumcised?
Again, this is deeper. This is a longer conversation. We got to get to episode 7. Yeah. We're going 7 episodes.
Now, naturally, not everyone in Germany was comfortable with the whole exterminate the Jews thing. So the Nazis did not embark upon the final solution immediately upon entering office. Instead, it was done in fits and starts throughout the 1930s, so as to not totally freak people out. And also, they're really relatively, as far as like the population goes, Jewish people made up like 1% of the entire German population. So if they started disappearing little by little, people aren't really going to notice. So even though Hitler had been saying in interviews as early as 1922 that he wanted to see the streets of Munich lined with the rotting corpses of hanged Jews, he said
so
that...
funny.
Yeah, because that makes it a nice place.
That's a funny bit.
They love cleanliness. They love making things nice.
It's because it's funny. It's comedy. He's just rattling cages, man.
Yeah, he's just rattling cages. Yeah, but there were many average Germans who didn't take him seriously. Or they were at the very least willing to risk that Hitler was being serious if he gave them what they wanted. It's like how people who have half supported Trump over the years justify the awful things he said and done by claiming that Trump is just, quote unquote, playing to his base.
You're the base.
Yeah. And while these people aren't necessarily bad, they're ignoring the troublesome stuff because they're hoping that he's eventually going to get around to their wants and needs.
Because they believe they're a part of a selected subclass that will be treated special by the authoritarian government.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that when everybody's a Nazi, everybody gets treated like a Nazi.
Mm-hmm. And Germany worked much the same way during the 1930s in the lead up to World War II. But what the German people didn't know was that they were being deliberately slow-rolled into accepting the worst of the Nazis' goals, little by little. Now, by the mid-1930s, Heinrich Himmler had spent years workshopping his ideas and beliefs within the SS. So in 1935, it seemed like Hitler felt like his beliefs were ready to be taken to a wider audience. See, besides just creating a new religion for Germany, Himmler wanted to create a whole new history. And this, to me, seems like the far more important task when it came to getting the average German on board with concepts like Lebensraum, in which Germans would take the land of others as their own because it was their ancestral right. And it wasn't that too far off for what World War I was. And if Himmler could create an atmosphere within Germany in which he could twist the truth to create proof that the Germans had lived in a region prior to the current occupants, then he could make the Germans believe that they were totally justified in eliminating said occupants, people like the Jews, the Polish, or the Russians, and getting bigger and bigger.
And you had to create a fake past because the real past was that Germanic various tribes ran different city-states in all this like very complicated like mountainous region, and they all kind of believed in semi-different things, and then the spread of Christianity kind of half worked, and it's kind of all this big mishigosh of stuff. Like there is no central culture,
and it also just wasn't that impressive.
No, it's not. They're mountain people. They're just people. They aren't. I'm sorry, Eddie. I know that you were worried about this, but Aryans are not the supermensches that we thought we were, creating the whole world in their image.
How dare you? I will say, in all the research and documentaries I've been watching and shit, Germany does look beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, it's beautiful country.
It's an absolutely gorgeous country.
Yeah.
It really is.
But we'll talk right now. It's actually a feature. It works into the mythology perfectly.
Well, to replace Christianity and to justify the concept of Lebensraum, Heinrich Himmler founded an institution in 1935 with the goal of creating a new reality for not just the SS, but for the German people at large.
And then the world!
Mm-hmm. This institute was called the Ahnenerbe, and Himmler founded it with himself as superintendent. Basically, the mission of the Ahnenerbe was to find new evidence of the great deeds and accomplishments of the Germanic people, evidence that had been sneakily hidden or destroyed by the Jews. This evidence would then be conveyed to the German people through the media, social events, and scientific conferences. The idea was that if the lie and the legend was told enough, backed by pseudoscience and pseudohistory that felt right to the German people, because that's very important. It has to feel right.
That's the key.
That is the key. It has to feel right. And if it feels right, then the Germans would be far more amenable to all of the horrible shit that Himmler had planned. And unfortunately for millions, this turned out to be a very good bet on Himmler's part. Now, unlike Himmler's secret SS castle, the Ahnenerbe was set up to be a respectable institute in the eyes of the German people. Its offices were in a nice villa in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Berlin, outfitted with all the latest technologies.
You wanted it to look nice and legit.
But Himmler also made sure that the Ahnenerbe had that mysterious occult edge that he added to almost everything, save for the concentration camps. The halls in the Ahnenerbe offices were decorated with photos of arcane carved wooden symbols, and plaster casts of ancient rune stones were scattered throughout so staff members could consult them before making big decisions. Now, this makes it sound like the Ahnenerbe was just a bunch of kooks, but there were plenty of supposedly legitimate scholars who participated in Himmler's nonsense. Partly, these people participated because they were too scared not to, but some of them very much wanted Himmler's alternate history to be true.
Because if it's all true, then everything can be excused and everything can have an actual rationale instead of what seems to be a giant maniacal global madness that they are caught up in.
Well, we're not even there yet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the thing is that, like, we're like at this point.
It's the beginning. It's just heating up.
Yeah.
It's bubbling.
At this point, it's not about justification. At this point, it really is, and it cannot be stressed enough. It's about feeling better.
Yeah.
Because the German people feel like shit.
They were butthurt after what happened in World War I.
Super butthurt.
Yeah, and they wanted to not be butthurt anymore.
Yeah, after losing World War I and the Treaty of Versailles and all the things that came afterwards, everyone's feeling real bad about themselves, and what the German people want more than anything else is to feel good about being German again.
Yeah, they want to feel better. They should stop eating so many carbs and pork.
Well, that's what we learned, Eddie, but that took emotional maturity for us.
Well, to make all that happen, the staff of the Ahnenerbe wrote new histories of Germany that made people feel good about themselves while erasing the histories that made people feel bad, which is the same fucking thing that's been happening across America for the last few years in our educational system.
They went around looking for a German Stonehenge.
Yeah.
They were obsessed with finding a German Stonehenge.
Something like that.
Because they loved Stonehenge.
They did.
Himmler loved Stonehenge, and he was so jealous of Stonehenge, and all he ever wanted was a German Stonehenge. So he sent out guys to go look for the German Stonehenge. And so what they do, every single time they found a weird-looking rock, they would take a picture of it and say, ancient white people put this here.
Yeah.
And then they would go like, look at this rock. Obviously, it's the shape of a lion. This was carved in stone by the ancient white people that used to live here, and they're the only ones who ever would have done it, even though it's just a rock.
Yeah. Also, you look at the pyramids, you look at the stuff down in the Aztecs and the Mayans.
White people had to do it.
Yeah, the Stonehenge, kind of lame.
Yeah.
But comparatively, there ain't really much going on there.
You know why?
You can't even sleep in it.
Well, it's because you know why? It's because Jews in the night
it rains sideways.
It's because Jews in the night came from the sky and knocked down the super complicated parts of Stonehenge, buddy. That's only the tip of Stonehenge, buddy. That's the button head. That's the fucking penis top of Stonehenge, dog.
Truth is, the Jews built the pyramids.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, the Ahnenerbe, they had the assistance of the Gestapo, the German secret police, who would steal materials from universities and other institutions that would support either the creation of new history or the erasure of reality. Those in academia who refused to cooperate with the Gestapo risked being sent to the camps, while those who willingly participated in the Ahnenerbe were often given high-ranking positions in the SS. As far as those who refused went, Himmler would replace their positions in academia with SS officers, so the Nazi version of history could extend its tentacles into every aspect of education, from literature to the sciences.
If it's not reality, we're going to make it a reality.
Now, when it came to Hitler using the Ahnenerbe to warp the past to fit his goals and beliefs, one of their biggest stretches concerned homosexuality.
They loved it? Yeah, it was big there.
No.
They liked every second of it?
They did not.
Oh, weird.
No. Well, as we said last episode, Himmler considered male homosexuality to be a blight on society because gay men didn't usually have kids. That was the whole reasoning behind it. And fatherhood was considered to be one of the most patriotic duties that a German man could perform, especially in Nazi Germany because, they'd lost a lot of people in the war and they had to refill those population coffers somehow.
Well, yeah, the idea was they were going to kill all those pesky people who were there in the first place and they were going to fill it with German people. And that required lots and lots of big German babies.
Yep. But Himmler also truly believed that you could catch being gay.
You can, buddy.
Yeah.
You can. And guess what? Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's a catcher's mitt. It looks great.
It's fucking awesome. Dudes suck dick. Don't ask questions, move on. Eat
Yeah.
a steak, move on.
Oh, yeah. Well, Himmler believed that male homosexuality was a communicable disease that would infect all of Germany if the Nazis didn't nip it in the bud.
Coming from the capital of leather daddies, which I think is amazing. That Berlin is literally where I saw the most human male ass
Oh, yeah.
on the street. Man, woo!
And so,
They're making up for time there.
very much so. And so Himmler went to the Ahnenerbe and told them to find historical or scientific evidence to support the persecution of gay men particularly. Nothing, of course, was found. But researchers did offer some speculation that a group of Iron Age Germans had maybe once executed their fellow tribesmen for homosexuality one time. Now that's thin gruel for evidence, but it was more than enough for Himmler. He expanded upon that speculation and announced that the Ahnenerbe had found hard evidence that ancient Germans had drowned homosexuals in swamps as a matter of course.
Yeah, and we did it the old-fashioned way by putting new bronze tint into the bottom of the swamps. And the gay men couldn't help themselves. They jumped in to find it. You know, homosexuality didn't even really exist as a concept until like modern times. It literally was Alexander the Great was homosexual.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really, they're wrong.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. You're brave.
They're wrong. You're brave.
No, you're brave.
No, you're brave.
You're brave.
Thank you.
The Greeks were gay before God.
Yeah, dude. The Greeks were so gay, they became Italian.
No, once Himmler's belief
That doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. It means nothing at all because the Italians, I believe, are famously homophobic.
I have no idea, dude. They just fucking, it was a pattern.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It followed a pattern.
Now, once Himmler's beliefs about homosexuality were quote-unquote confirmed, he began sending gay men to concentration camps where they were forced to wear the infamous pink triangle badges.
It's really kind of hard now you see that because you're like, obviously this very, very serious thing. And then we had that song. Pink triangle on a sled.
Well, I know that because...
Let me know the truth.
Do you know that song?
Let me know the truth.
The pink triangle...
I'm dumb, she's a lesbian.
I quit. I quit the show. I'm done.
But just like the LGBT people say,
He jumped right in, baby.
But... just like LGBT people today have been used as the vanguard for bigotry in this administration, gay men were actually among the first group to suffer Nazi human experimentation. This was all so the Nazis could see if they could turn gays into straights, and they did so through a variety of horrific methods, including but not limited to chemical castration. Reportedly, 15,000 gay people were sent to concentration camps, and 60% of them either died there or were killed during the course of the experiments.
Is that another track on that Weezer album? Or?
It's not at all. Not at all. The song, because the gay people, they took the pink triangle, as a thing of power, and then it's all about how he's an idiot. Rich Cuomo was an idiot.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm you're a lesbian.
Great. Well, Himmler put homosexuals, people with biological defects, and women who got abortions all in the same criminal category. They were all people who were actively working towards the destruction of Germany because they were not making more Aryans.
We will put them in the category of groovy cats that must be destroyed.
Arresting these people, Himmler said, was a preventative act. But most chillingly, Himmler made it very clear that this mission would never end. As Himmler put it in public, thinking that all this would be over in years or even decades was, quote, reckless and erroneous. In other words, just like it is today with, say, these new leaks from the Young Republicans where they're all talking about, I want to burn people, I want to gas people.
That's just traditional funny stuff amongst kids.
They are saying exactly what it is they're planning and exactly what they believe out loud. Mm-hmm. It is, however, ultimately the responsibility of the average citizen to take these people at their word when they say it, as opposed to, say, sweeping it under the rug again because you're annoyed at how fucking expensive milk is. Get your priorities in order.
Nazis tell you exactly who they are, and you need to listen. If you are, and I can't say this fucking strongly enough, if you have the strength to stand in front of a swastika-based flag, and you need to think about that, because swastikas are a no-go in the United States of America, and I don't fucking give a fucking shit what you think about it.
Man, I'm so sick of these interviews with the fucking guys from the South calling them swastikers.
Yeah, y'all did that. Yeah, man, people got swastikas all over the place. It's all, just funny-looking X. That's all, that's all I thought it was.
They just think it's 5 pot stickers.
Yeah.
Now, the Nazis had a thing for blood in both the metaphorical and literal senses. But under Himmler's direction, the Ahnenerbe viewed Aryan blood as an actual magical elixir. In another example of Himmler getting an idea and telling the Ahnenerbe to figure it out, he believed that the blood that flowed through his Aryan ancestors' veins was what had supplied them with their heightened powers of creativity and intelligence. Himmler, therefore, believed that if the Ahnenerbe could somehow crack the code of synthesizing pure Aryan blood, then that blood could heal all illness, transform those of mixed blood into pure-blooded Aryans, and produce superior livestock. It's an all-in-one.
You mean there's something that could finally make me white?
Actually, I do believe that that was the turning someone of mixed blood into pure Aryan blood. I think that's why Himmler wanted it so bad, because he knew deep down that he was not in any way Aryan. He did not have any Aryan features whatsoever, and I think he thought that if he found his magic potion, he could drink it and he could somehow be that beautiful blonde boy that he wanted to fuck so bad.
Can someone please Photoshop me an image of Heinrich Himmler taking the Aryan blood and turning him into a giant-titted, beautiful blonde Aryan woman with the mustache? Like, if he could look like a beautiful, big-titted, like, beer wench, like that, and then he's just like, oh no, I used the wrong blood! And then all of a sudden, we got a Nazi Freaky Friday.
Yeah, actually, well,
Juana Man.
Yeah, it's Freaky Friday meets Weird Science meets Zone of Interest.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Pitched. Copyrighted. Mailed it to myself.
Done.
Now, again, this sounds ridiculous, but in Himmler's eyes, the discovery of pure Aryan blood was one of the Third Reich's greatest works. And he recruited scientists, anthropologists, musicologists, zoologists, astronomers, doctors, and folklorists to try to make it happen.
All the Aryan blood, though, is at the bottom of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in Atlantis.
If you believed it.
Well, it's about synthesizing it. It's about figuring out what it is. First, you figure out what it is, and then you figure out how to make it.
And Germans love synthesizers.
They fucking top shelf, bud. Yeah. Top shelf.
They do.
Now, Himmler's actions surrounding homosexuality and Aryan blood, these are just two examples of the cornucopia of insane tasks that were undertaken by the Ahnenerbe. They're also very much on the tamer side of things when you consider the Ahnenerbe's logical conclusion. See, when the Allies finally raided the Ahnenerbe offices in 1945, there were definitely a lot of questions like, hey, where'd all these skeletons and skulls come from? You guys have a lot of skeletons and skulls around.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of a thing here. You know, it's kind of a mode. It's like a mental.
But like, where'd you get them?
I inherited them from a man that I murdered.
Have you ever heard of this place, Spirit Halloween?
There was also quite a few questions about the Ahnenerbe's correspondence with a so-called doctor working out of Poland named Joseph Mengele.
Mengele!
But unfortunately...
You don't like it?
You don't like it, Eddie?
You know, it does rub me the wrong way a little bit.
Yeah. Just a bit.
There's that smiling
Yeah,
guy.
you know, that jack-o'-lantern of a fuck.
Yeah.
What was he doing? Let's continue.
But unfortunately, the full extent of the Ahnenerbe's works are still a mystery. 961 volumes of Ahnenerbe files survived the war, but this was only a fraction of what they had before they started burning files during the final Allied advance. That's how many files they had. That's how many files and that really shows you the scope of the Ahnenerbe, the scope of the Holocaust, the scope of the concentration camps, the Gestapo, all of it is that the Germans, there were so many Germans who could see the Russians coming, could see the Americans coming, knew that the war was over, and were just constantly burning shit, constantly trying to get rid of it, and they didn't even come close to getting rid of all the evidence.
Yes, well, I actually feel like, especially with the Ahnenerbe of all of them, to be honest, I think a lot of it was gobbledygook horseshit.
Yeah.
Like, I think most of it was them with various skulls, because like one big project of the Ahnenerbe was to go to Tibet and measure the skulls of every single Asian person that they met, because they were desperately looking for any form of Nordic sign inside of these cultures, and they would go meet, which should have been, that's an interesting movie of the Nazis that went to Tibet, and they said they earned the trust of the Tibetan people so much that they lived amongst them, ate with them, hung out. Some stayed. They literally fell in love with Tibet, but then they measured everybody's heads, and they were so excited by these new people showing interest in them. They fed them. They gave them all these like celebrations, and they went and they literally like made all these plaster casts of all these different types of Asian people.
Oh, they should do it. It should be called Tibet Your Ass Roll Nazis.
That's hilarious.
Well, I mean, you have kind of half of the story there is that, yeah, they did go, and the Tibetans were like, oh, you love the swastika? We love the swastika.
Swastikas all around.
That's great. Yeah. And then eventually, like, eventually someone from like outside showed up and like, hey, what are you doing hanging out with Nazis? And they're like, what are Nazis? They're fine. It's like, you know what they do, right? Like what they're and then they told the Tibetans like all of the shit that the Nazis did. Like, okay, so we need to stop hanging out with these guys now. I was like, yeah, you should probably stop hanging out with these guys.
It's like Manson and the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, because they went and there's like, how do you say like, there's a teaching moment here, guys. Guys, but guess what they found? Nothing.
Now, while much of the more nefarious experiments of the Ahnenerbe were lost, the work they did rewriting history was a matter of public record before the war even began. See, there were two big question marks when it came to buying the concept of a history in which the ancient Aryan Germans were the superior race. And I'm not even just talking about worldwide. I'm talking about just in Europe.
Yeah, you're not talking about Africa or the Middle East.
No, or
Asia,
South America.
Yeah.
Those question marks were Rome and Greece. See, it was already well established that while the Romans were building the Colosseum, the Germanic tribes were struggling to make a piece of pottery that didn't look as if it was crafted by a very gifted child.
And the Germanic tribes sort of did the thing where they burned Rome down as it collapsed, and that led us to a little thing called the Dark Ages, which was a period of time in which we don't know exactly how long it lasted, in which there was no communication across the country. So that was also kind of their fault in a way.
Mm-hmm, the Gothics.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, not the Vandals.
The Vandals and all of the barbarian clans.
Mm-hmm. Well, to sidestep all of these inconvenient truths, the Germans changed history itself by claiming that the accomplishments of Rome could be traced back through time immemorial to blonde-haired migrants from the north.
It's gotta be.
Northern Europe.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. Well, Northern Europe, the Nazis claimed, was too damp to properly cultivate the genius of the Aryans.
Yes.
Too wet, too cold.
Get me. I'm like that. I can't be wet. I can't be wet.
Yeah.
So, I need to think. I need to be dry to think.
Yeah. So the Aryans were forced to migrate to the Mediterranean, where the weather was better. And then once they got a little sun, once they got a little bit of just like, God, it's so nice here, they founded Rome and Greece. But the mixing of the races eventually diluted their Aryan blood, which is why the Romans and the Greeks were no longer Aryan.
They were snowbirds.
Yes.
Permanent snowbirds. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, white people they love to move. Mm-hmm. And they go to all and they just love to help. So they go to places and they just help, and that's what they do, and then they just ran away.
Right.
And it's not like being fucked out of existence. It's like, it just seems to be, if every single time an Aryan tribe arrives and then fucks itself out of existence, maybe we need to learn something from that as well.
Well, the Nazi counter argument to that is we have learned something, and that something is we must kill every Jew on earth.
Yikes! Yeah. And that's why I say, oh, child, that's not what you're supposed to think, child. You need to have yourself a nice plate of pasta, child, in Italy.
Well, but seriously, that is the idea. Is like this keeps happening again and again, and it will keep happening unless we kill all of them. Now, incredibly, the German people ate this shit up. As far as reasons go, one of the biggest motivators for believing all of this was that many Germans, like I said, desperately needed to feel better about themselves after the humiliation of losing the First World War. In some ways, many Germans lost their minds after World War I, just as many Americans were utterly broken by 9/11. And people stuck in this frame of mind will do and believe just about anything if it makes them feel better about their national humiliation. We all know somebody who was never right again after 9/11.
Yeah, Matt Lauer.
But the other side of why these people believed in the alternate histories was because the Nazis crammed all this shit down people's throats through propaganda and Nazi-controlled media. So-called historical articles that rebranded history through a Nazi lens were a regular feature in the official SS newspaper, SS Guidebook. As an aside, though, these Nazi newspapers were fascinating artifacts. According to one writer who studied SS Guidebook, it combined dime store pulp, hardcore political doctrine, sexy photos of Frauleins in swimsuits, quotes from Mein Kampf, and even a Dear Abby-style column that offered tips to SS men who were looking for suitable Aryan brides.
Have you thought of just taking them?
I need to steal them. You know, it's very interesting is that they had a very good eye for marketing and tone.
Yeah.
So one of the things they understood was kind of keep it almost on an entertaining, hyper-optimistic way, right? This idea of all these horrible things are happening. But when you are listening and talking and reading Nazi content, it's entertaining, positive. It's extremely positive. It's very obviously it's talking about violence, but in a positive way. It's it wants you to get all gummed up for it. It wants you to go. And then they also had the ability to completely cut off all the spigots of any other type of information coming in.
Yep.
You know, there's no internet, there's nothing coming. There's no way for you to know that this isn't really just an ever-pervasive reality necessarily. And then they're starting to make stuff look really intense.
Mm-hmm. Now, while Heinrich Himmler certainly had a lot of ideas, he did not create the foundation for all of these narratives. As we said in the first episode, many of these concepts came from books Himmler had read in his 20s. But as he gained more power in Germany, some of the authors of those books, and this is your dream,
yep,
they became Himmler's collaborators.
He was like, oh, I was such a huge fan, and I can't believe I get to work with you, Mr. Wiligut.
Yeah.
That'd be like if we got Schechter on the show.
Oh,
yeah. Well, as such, when Himmler began rewriting history and science with the Ahnenerbe, he included some of those writers. And while there were some real crackpots in the Institute, none were more cracked than Karl Maria Wiligut.
Fucking Wiligut. This fucking guy.
Yeah. Born in 1866, Karl Maria Wiligut, or I guess it's Wiligut.
Wiligut?
Yeah, it's really good. Karl Maria really good. My name's Karl really good. How you doing?
Oh, look at how happy he is in his uniform.
Mm-hmm. He does look like a good old boy.
Yeah, he was a World War I veteran who claimed to have genealogical links to both the Norse god Thor and to a German tribal chief who had slaughtered 3 Roman legions in the year 9. Karl was also an occult author who had been an early influence on Heinrich Himmler's own occult beliefs. But just like many people in Himmler's inner circle, Karl was also certifiably insane.
Largely the craziest one.
Yeah. After fighting on both the Italian and Eastern fronts during World War I, Karl retired from military service after spending 40 years fighting for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Of course, after World War I, no more Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Yeah, what do you do then?
You become bitter.
All my credits for this Austro-Hungarian Empire.
And so he joined his local Austrian right-wing paramilitary group and became a violent, unpredictable alcoholic who always carried a loaded revolver. Karl was also a suspected incestuous pedophile who was so inappropriate with his daughters that his wife had locks installed on their doors to keep Karl away.
Hey, at least she did something.
Yeah, at least there's that. Yeah. I mean, she could also, stabbed him in the throat while he slept, but at least he put locks on the doors.
He's daddy.
Yeah.
He's also like Paul Atreides because he believed that he could see into the past. He believed that he had access to every single white person memory, and he was attached to a thing called the racial soul. And the racial soul was essentially it's a collective unconscious only for white people.
Yeah.
And it's for white people history. And he could look into the past at any time and confirm anything that Himmler said because he could see it.
These fat fucks, they just make up anything to make them sound cool.
Yeah. Eventually, Karl became so out of control that his wife had him committed to an insane asylum sometime during the early to mid-1920s, where he told anyone who would listen that he had single-handedly defeated every communist there ever was. And whilst committed...
Good work, Karl!
Wow! Whilst committed, Karl also obsessively collected pebbles and very small rocks, which he carried in his pockets at all times. In his room, Karl would polish and arrange these rocks, thousands of them, lined up in rows. He would give each rock a representation representation. Like, that one's a snake, that one's an eagle, that one's a really big dick. And other times, he would give a stone a larger, more abstract meaning. Like, this stone represents the battle between the forces of light and darkness. Very important stone.
Carl, I fucking hate you. Shut up, Carl.
Stop polishing your rocks.
I wish they were, if I was polishing them, I would be putting them in the camps.
Now, after a few years in the insane asylum, Karl was finally released in 1927.
He was done.
Yeah, and he immediately found himself drawn to the growing Völkisch and Nazi movements.
Wow.
There he found like minds and began calling himself Weiss Thor, which just means wise Thor.
I would love for anybody to go onto TikTok and take stills from hashtag tradwife content, make it black and white, and put it of pictures next to the Völkisch movement and tell me if you can see the difference. I really would like you to see if you can see the difference between the two of those.
Within the Nazis, Karl found a group who would actually honor his request to be called Weiss Thor.
I mean, he kept insisting.
Yep, that group was, of course, Himmler's SS.
Always go where you're welcome.
Yeah. But rather than just humor the old man, they encouraged his claims. Himmler and his SS men actually believed Karl when he said that he could channel ancient Nordic figures by entering seizure-like trances.
I'm pretty certain it was seizures.
Yeah, it could have been. And they listened carefully when he would come out of those seizures and recite primeval adages, sayings, and proverbs that he claimed to have received from the ancestors.
The Jew is like the rotten turnip.
God, you're a wise Thor.
It is always brown in the wrong places.
Also, this just shows, never hang out with people that let you pick your own nickname.
Never.
Ever.
Ever, never.
Never. You should. You can't tell anybody your nickname. Like, oh, who does that bit? Isn't that Eddie Izzard who does the bit about Sting? No, that Dana Carvey does it.
Yeah, Dana Carvey.
Yeah, like, okay, Gordon.
Yeah. There was also a whole Seinfeld episode about it. T-Bone.
Yeah, T-Bone.
And he gets nicknamed Coco.
Yeah.
Well, again, all of this sounds ridiculous, but Karl Wiligut attracted a large following in the Völkisch German scene, and by 1933, he had become a friend to none other than Heinrich Himmler, who was somewhat of a Wiligut fanboy. He's a Guthead. Karl would bring Himmler old books and manuscripts bound in pig leather that, according to Karl's claims, contained all his accumulated occult knowledge.
And the best part is if you're hungry, you can fry it.
Yeah. I love a book you can suck on.
And the great thing is this is how you keep the Jews from reading it.
They can't even touch it. They can't touch it.
Using these books and Karl's channeling techniques, Himmler and Karl made decisions as to where to place SS training camps and headquarters in locations that were most magically suitable, at least magically suitable according to the ancestors.
You know what we are
Very
doing?
important decisions were made based on Karl Wiligut's, seizures.
We're discounting Hitler here because, yes, Hitler only had shallow belief systems and in any aspect, but Himmler also knew to pitch Hitler, you needed a full storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going in there to pitch Adolf Hitler, you better come really ready to talk about the whys and wheres of what you want to do, because Hitler was like that. He did no work, but he wanted to know everything.
Yeah.
So you'd show up and you'd need reasons. So I think partially with Wiligut, it gives, again, gravitas to the decisions we're making over here.
Yeah, you got to know what's going to happen in season 5.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. And Himmler's other technique with Hitler that worked extraordinarily well is that Himmler would go in and basically be Hitler's bitching post. He would wait until Hitler was very angry, and then he would go in and he would let Hitler scream at him for hours upon hours on end, and he would just take it and yes, and then finally...
You are misunderstood.
Yeah.
They don't listen to you and they don't get you.
Yeah, and then finally when Hitler got tired himself out, that's when Himmler were going like, oh, hey, I got this idea. And Hitler's like, yeah, fucking whatever, fine, get out of here, just go, I'm tired. And it worked again and again and again, and that also brought Hitler closer to Himmler.
Himmler was his SME.
Yeah. Now, the problem with Karl Wiligut and Heinrich Himmler's working relationship is that while Himmler was a vivacious and excitable 33-year-old Nazi, Karl was already 66 and getting quite tired by the time they started working together. So to keep Karl going, Himmler supplied Karl with drugs. Now, we don't know exactly what Himmler gave Karl, but considering how just about everyone in Nazi Germany was on meth during this time, Karl was probably gacked out of his skull.
Yeah, he was able to do cartwheels and shit.
Yeah, dude. That's the fucking shit, man. Getting that IV meth when you're an old man, sign me up, dude.
Well,
winning, man.
Well, the Nazis, it was a little pill. I can't remember what it was called. It was like PP or something like that. But yeah, it was a little pill that was made, and everyone got it. That's how the Blitzkrieg worked. Like, that's how they were able to Blitzkrieg France, because every single one of them were on meth, and they didn't have to sleep. And so they just went for days upon days on end.
But then I was reading that Blitz book, and they talk about how then they burn out.
Yeah.
Then when the burnout hit, that's like when the Nazis started hardcore losing. Like literally watch an entire army get burnt out.
It sucks because taking all that meth, they would have loved being gay.
Right? Right? And then with the haircuts too, the haircuts look like every bear in WeHo.
Well, likely hot to the gills on speed, Karl claimed to channel ascended masters of the occult, just like Madame Blavatsky had claimed to do. In reality, Karl had probably just stolen Blavatsky's act.
Of course.
But as opposed to Blavatsky, Karl's ascended masters only had apocalyptic visions, which made Himmler believe with even more fervor that the Nazis, and specifically the SS, needed to wipe the earth clean of all bad influence in advance of a future planet-wide catastrophe.
Couldn't even wipe his own ass.
You don't know. He might have loved wiping his ass.
He was a rag on a stick, man.
Now, while Karl was on Himmler's wavelength ideologically, Karl obviously did not have what you'd call an administrative mind.
Yeah.
Karl was
He's basically a rambling homeless man that smelled like a barn. He literally was this disgusting, rambling, insane old man.
His family had abandoned him.
Yes.
Yeah. Himmler just happened to find him hilarious.
Well, Himmler used him as like, it's his Rasputin.
Yeah.
It's his mysterious source of all his ancient knowledge that no one can really cryptically understand, and only Himmler can, and he's the only one who can translate to everybody.
Also, when he stands next to him, he doesn't look as fat.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, Himmler has the fattest head of a skinny boy I've ever seen in my life.
God.
It's just so incredibly weird.
Yeah, he's got that Adam Scott head.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's skinny, but he is fat. Like, that's the thing about Himmler. Like, he's got a little pouch.
Yeah, it's called these in management.
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of shape.
The Pillsbury Doughboy.
That's hilarious.
Well, Karl Wiligut was a great ideas guy. He didn't really have the wherewithal to actually run something like the Ahnenerbe. And Himmler's duties with the rapidly expanding concentration camp system and the Gestapo, that was taking up quite a bit of his time in the mid to late 1930s. So Himmler stepped down from his position as superintendent of the Ahnenerbe and created the position of president for a 50-year-old prehistorian named Hermann Wirth, who, if you look at him, had the appearance of an old-timey scientist whose explosions constantly blew up in his face and covered him in soot.
And that kind of gave him cred.
Yeah, he looks like somebody the Daffy Duck would chase after.
Oh, look at that mustache.
Yeah.
God, he looks so
nice loot.
Yeah, he looks like a Confederate soldier.
I do, man. But I will say, I'm really having it up to here with these Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass.
Rise from your grave.
Why do most of us want to learn a new language? It's probably not about memorizing grammar tables or topping a leaderboard, because we want to speak it out in the real world with real people. Babbel gets you there fast. Babbel lets you practice real-life conversations step by step without the stress. You'll build the confidence to speak up when it matters, from ordering a cafe to chatting with new amigos abroad. It's kind of amazing what you can do once you learn a new language. It's just going to be amazing to have Babbel on my side when I go to Europe and say, por favor, can I have a glizzy? And then have to explain what glizzy is to them, but then maybe I can put that into Babbel. But that's the key. If you want to ask for a glizzy in a super flirty way in Europe, you're going to need the power of Babbel. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/left. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/left.
spelled BABBEL.com/left. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I'm Dr. Sarah Rahal, the founder and CEO of Armra. I developed Armra Colostrum because I know your body was designed to thrive. It's your natural state, your birthright, and you can reclaim it. Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life, with every essential nutrient our bodies need. It's nature's original blueprint for health. After a devastating health crisis almost took my life, I made it my mission to harness this power. Using proprietary technology, Armra captures over 400 bioactive nutrients in every scoop, delivering over 1,000 benefits that transform your health at its foundation. Whether for gut health, metabolism, skin, hair, immunity, mood, energy, fitness, or recovery, I invite you to join this collective revival of health and discover radical transformation for yourself. Visit armra.com, that's ARMRA.com, and enter code HEALTH30 for 30% off your first subscription order. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Need to restock inventory, cover seasonal dips, or manage payroll? OnDeck's small business line of credit provides immediate access to funds, up to $200,000, exactly when your business needs it. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and full control over repayment, you can tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. Apply today at OnDeck.com, and funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
Now, that's not to say that Hermann Wurst was not an ideas guy as well, because everyone in the Ahnenerbe was, shall we say, full of ideas.
Full of ideas.
See, Hermann was very much into the idea of creating an Aryan religion, and he told Himmler that he had a treasure trove of ancient sacred texts written by the Nordic race, texts that Hermann himself had, quote-unquote, discovered. Hermann's motivations for creating the religion, however, were more in line with your average German. See, Hermann had become disillusioned with Western civilization as a whole after Germany lost World War I. Hermann believed that civilization was spiraling towards an inevitable collapse, but he also believed that he could prevent this collapse if he, quote, recovered the truths of the past. To Hermann, his work with the Ahnenerbe was not just important, but existential, and the fervor with which Hermann spoke and wrote about ancient Aryans led people to call him the Hitler of German scientists.
Whoa.
Which is one hell of a nickname.
Hell yeah. You know what I'd say? You're the Hitler of research podcasts.
I don't want that nickname.
I'm the Hitler of sideman comedy.
Oh, yeah, and I just struggled in the bathroom.
You're the Hitler of the downstairs shitter bathroom. Because we have, obviously, as you know, downstairs is the shitting bathroom, upstairs is the pissing bathroom.
That's right, man, because it goes down.
Yep.
Trickle-down effect.
It's closer to the river.
Do you think that Hermann was trying to convince everyone and say, did you know that it used to be called Harmony?
Yeah. I don't know, Herman. Are you crazy?
It used to be Harmony.
Now, by the time Heinrich Himmler had established the Ahnenerbe in the mid-1930s, Hermann Wurst's star was on the wane.
Aww.
He was nearly bankrupt and inching towards debtor's prison, so Himmler used SS funds to bail Hermann out, thus creating another loyal man who owed Himmler his life. Now, Hermann was partly hired to lead archaeological expeditions outside of Germany because any and all attempts made by Ahnenerbe researchers to find evidence of past Aryan superiority within their own borders had only produced a lot of shitty Iron Age pottery. So, under Hermann's guidance, the Ahnenerbe began making expeditions all over the world, although Himmler was smart enough to give Hermann orders that you do not discuss politics with anyone outside of Germany.
So fascinating because it shows that he knew that there was a problem with it.
Yes. But using Hermann as his frontman, Himmler could fully explore his growing obsession with Tibet. Now, Himmler's interest in Tibet was not original amongst occultists who subscribed to the Aryan myth. As we mentioned, Madame Blavatsky had kicked off the idea that Aryans had originated in Tibet, and countless other crackpots had run with it. As such, Himmler believed that the Aryan race had built an empire in Central Asia, the mythical Shambhala, and using a particularly Nazi brand of circular reasoning, Himmler believed that the symbol of Aryan Shambhala had to have been the swastika.
It had to have been because it's the here now.
Well,
it's the swastika.
Yeah.
You know that there's swastikas up in Tibet.
Yeah.
You know what's up in there, man.
I don't use no brown sauce with my swastika.
Oh, hey, listen right there, right? Hey, you know what they say? Swastika marks the spot. Right there is where I get my bratwurst.
Now, Shambhala was not a metaphor to Himmler, nor was it even a myth. He truly believed that Tibet was the last refuge of the Aryan root race, that there were still, even in the 1930s, Aryans tucked away somewhere in the Tibetan mountains.
They are sitting there with their glockenspiels, wondering where is the fatherland?
So Himmler tasked Ahnenerbe researchers with finding these remaining original Aryans. Once found, the Nazi researchers were instructed to leave behind a radio transmitter so the Aryans could make contact with Berlin. And once the bond was established, the ancient Aryans could teach the Nazis how to mine substances to prolong their lives and how to build psychic conductors to reach higher states of consciousness. Because Volkish writers had told them that's what ancient Aryans knew how to do.
I will say it's a big Hail Mary pass. It seems like that little trip's going to wrap up a lot of stuff. He's like, then once they go, and so we get some machines, and we get the hidden elements in the Asian mountains, and make a super powerful then they're good. We just need XYZ to happen. And then we're good.
Yeah.
If you go there, you go to Tibet, you find me a yodeling monk.
Yeah, please. You find me the man stuck on a plateau with wooden shoes, and he has no idea why he is there, white as hell.
This expedition, however, almost didn't happen because the guy they put in charge of it accidentally shot and killed his wife during a duck hunting trip right before they set off.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, tell me about it. I've heard that excuse 9 times.
Yeah.
Excuse me, wife, could you put this duck on your head?
Okay, lower.
The researcher, however, pulled himself together after 8 weeks of grieving. They then set off for Tibet, but nothing, of course, was found. Now, Nazi theories about the past didn't stop with the creation of the races and where they originated. Nazis even had their own ideas about how the Earth itself was formed. And amongst the Nazis, the most widely accepted creation story was the world ice theory. Now, the creator of the world ice theory was a man who was...
was it Anheuser-Busch?
No, it was not. He was a man who was regarded as a complete idiot by legitimate astronomers, and that is a quote. This man was an Austrian with the absolutely terrible name of Hans Hörbiger.
I'm Hörbiger.
Yeah.
My name's Hans Hörbiger. Yeah, everything's cold at first.
That's like a guy it's like a fat man who orders a prostitute. He's like, I need my Hörbiger.
Honestly, to be frank, and more specifically, I need my whore wider.
Well, Hörbiger had the reputation of being an idiot because he openly bragged that his world ice theory involved no actual math or science.
Best part is there's no thing to write down.
Because math and science were, quote, too Jewish and deceptive.
What is a number 4? Is it found in nature? What is the number 7? Is it found naturally amongst the trees?
I love how there's becoming truth to Hitler on ice.
As you can imagine, his theory was indeed moronic, but it did serve as an important piece of the history that Himmler was constructing with the Ahnenerbe.
Well, it's more rhyming doctrine with the past. This idea that there is the Hyperborean island, right? There's Hyperborea, which is the icebound island that the mystical white people first sprung from, right? That went down, that where Iceland would be, right? So that's
Iceland, yeah.
And Iceland does not like the fact that Nazis retconned a lot of their lore.
Well, but they're taking the poetic Edda and saying that, oh, this is actually the history of the area. No, they don't enjoy that.
They don't like that.
They really don't enjoy that
really
at all.
angry.
Because the poetic Edda is a beautiful work of literature.
But they don't like it. They just turn it into whatever they wanted it to. So these guys are all doing it. So that's another rhyming thing to the ice world that they all came from.
Well, basically, the world ice theory held that the Earth had started with 6 moons made of ice. And I'm really taking this down to its basics.
Yes, because this is just an anime.
Yeah.
What you're describing.
Yeah.
One by one, these moons were pulled down to Earth through gravitational forces.
We must must defend the earth from the forces of negativity. Yes, I in charge of kissing. I have the energy of hugging. I have the energy of whistling.
And these have caused incredible destruction and change each time. That's one of the things that they would say about the Bible. One of the only true things about the Bible is that the flood did happen, but it was because a moon made of ice fell into the ocean. But what was important to the Nazis...
Did you know that the first Jews were snowmen?
Yeah. But what was important to the Nazis was that the fifth moon had come down 11,000 years ago, and it had been this moon that had destroyed Atlantis. Now, you might be saying that this totally negates their other belief that Atlantis was destroyed by the Jews. We talked about it, I think, in episode 1 or 2. Yes, that it was the Jews and the Slavs working together that had sunk the city, or sunk the continent of Atlantis.
Well,
and you'd
the
be
space laser melted the ice moon.
I don't think you understand.
God, you're right!
I actually don't think he understands that the first space lasers were natural from an invading Jewish star, and that's where you're incorrect, where the space lasers were then built by modern Jewish cabals in order to compare to the ancient Jewish star that destroyed the 6 moons of white ice.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome!
Well, you'd be right for pointing out those contradictions. But an essential part of being a Nazi, and an essential part of being a part of any fascist system, is that you had to be able to hold a lot of contradictory ideas in your head all at the same time while never questioning said contradictions. See, it's not necessarily about what is true as much as it's about what can be true, just so long as what can be true constantly feeds back into the central ideas of the movement. Like, oh yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and it just goes on and on and on, and it all just gets added up and until nothing is true, and everything is true at the same time.
You're physically frightened.
Yeah.
And so you now know that to cut the physical fear of being inside of the fascist machine, you have to say yes. Mm-hmm. And that's just most of those things, because everyone makes a big talk of when the Nazis come, you're going to fight. But actually, it's like very uncomfortable to fight them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they send you to concentration camps.
Well, it's not, I mean, just think of it on a very human level. How many times have you been in a conversation with somebody and they say some really awful, off-the-wall shit?
And you got to laugh your way through it.
And you have to laugh your way through it because you know that the person you're talking to is violent and unstable. And if you say something or if you push back even a little bit, they're going to beat you half to death.
Yep.
Everyone has done it in their life.
I've done it multiple times.
Yeah. I do it several times a day.
Yeah. And it usually starts with, I know, Dad.
Yeah. Now, in keeping with fascist tradition, Hörbiger and his Nazi followers doubled down.
This horse too big. I need a horse smaller now.
They doubled down when actual scientists said that the world ice theory, also called glacial cosmology, was really fucking stupid. Instead of backing down, Himmler sent a German novelist named Edmund Kiss to the Bolivian Andes to see if Edmund could prove the world ice theory. And the only reason why he sent Kiss was because Kiss had written novels about Atlantis. Nothing, of course, was found. But that did not temper Himmler's admiration of novelist Edmund Kiss. Himmler so loved Edmund's work that he actually had a special edition of one of Kiss's novels made with a leather cover, and Himmler gave this special edition to Hitler himself as a Christmas gift.
A Christmas gift, please.
I must say this, Heini. Only you get me. I wish that you were a pert young. Let's try this Aryan blood again to see if it makes you into my soon-to-be wife.
Please go look for the lost city of Atlantis. Where? The top of a mountain.
God, is Himmler gone? He gives me these fucking books every year. And I don't want to fucking... It's so long. It's like giving someone a fucking homework assignment. It's not... It's that I have to read it because if I don't read it, then he gets fucking butthurt when he asks me about it in February.
I thought he was this guy's guy, but he gives me this gay shit like it's reading fucking sick, and I'm sick and tired of this fucking garbage. Do something. Take me to a strip club. Do something fun with me. I'm a man. We're men. Let's experiment. Let's have fun. We men have fun.
No. As the years went by and the German people became more and more inundated with the bullshit being spewed by Himmler's Ahnenerbe, a large number of Germans came to believe that the Old Norse myths were actually the secret history of the Aryan race. This is where they looked at, Iceland's Edda and said, like, oh, That's real.
That's us.
Yeah. For example, the most fervent of Nazis thought that Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, was an actual thing that could be found and used. But Himmler believed it harder than anyone.
And I know I'll be able to pick it up, just like when Captain America picked it up, but I can do it. I can do it.
Himmler thought that the thunderbolt imagery in ancient Norse art and literature was evidence of an ancient advanced weapon that could be recreated and wielded by the Nazis. A modern Mjolnir that was capable of unleashing the power of the gods.
It was lightning.
Yeah.
That's what they were drawing.
Yeah.
Was the lightning itself.
Well, yeah, but
because it was an impressive natural formation that they couldn't understand.
We also use that as evidence that the ancient Aryans had electricity for everyone else.
Lightning does come from the sky. It is electricity.
It's like, how can you be so evil and so annoying?
Because that's, again, it's a feature.
Yeah. Now, the Ahnenerbe's first president, Hermann Wirth, fell out of favor with Himmler in 1937 when Hermann dared to make the suggestion that ancient Nordic civilizations were matriarchies ruled by priestesses.
Oh, man, I could feel that room.
What did you say? This was a grave affront, because in Himmler's world, women were, in the words of one author, little more than compliant baby factories. That's what women were supposed to be.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
If they could have made women just the uteruses, they would have been very happy to.
Yeah. And when these so-called dangerous ideas made their way to Hitler, Hitler publicly denounced the president of the Ahnenerbe.
I was just about to do that.
Yeah. Luckily for Hermann, though, he'd already done enough to prevent a trip to the camps, and he was instead busted down to a ceremonial position. But as it was with Dachau, Hermann's replacement, a man named Walter Wüst, was far more dangerous. See, prior to joining the Nazi Party, Wüst was a professor who had become accustomed to teaching classes to handfuls of bored students who were barely paying attention to what he was saying. But with the Nazis, Wüst found an incredibly motivated audience. So he jumped at the opportunity to mold the minds of thousands of men in Himmler's SS, men who would then force those ideas upon the rest of Germany.
It's really been a thing with men, huh? This idea of you just go where anybody will sing your praises no matter what it is that you do. There's something about that. The idea of like Nazism, the constant motif that constantly comes up is the mediocrity of the people involved, and how when the Nazis came up, they created a world in which they were venerated. In the previous world, they were considered an idiot.
Well, if you are considered mediocre, then what you do is you change the definition of mediocre.
Well, that's what the Nazis did, because on the whole, they were entirely mediocre, as we could see. Like, and even just kind of trying to come up with some fancy version of their past, you could tell that they were just they're just a normal group of people. They're just people, and it's just very, obviously it's a feature, but it just comes up a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, by 1937, the Ahnenerbe had 38 full-time researchers, but not all of them were what you'd call respectable. Guys like Karl Maria Wiligut were still knocking around the building.
Call me by my full name, Maria. My buddies call me Maria.
Karl Maria Weister Wiligut. That's my name. That's my name. Karl Maria Weister Wiligut.
He also became the MC from Cabaret.
So, Walter Wüst, as the newly minted president, got to work replacing crackpots like Karl with scholars who were actually respected in their fields.
This was a much worse thing than having kooks involved.
Yes. But the catch that these very ambitious scholars had to deal with was that they had to be comfortable with bending or breaking the truth to fit the Nazi way of looking at the world. Tragically, this view was becoming quite a bit more popular by the late 1930s. See, Hitler's reign since the Night of the Long Knives had been rocky to say the least. But, just like another modern leader I could name, Hitler always managed to pull himself out of a popularity slump with a big gesture. Whenever Hitler's popularity began flagging because of the chaos the Nazis caused or because the economy was in the shitter, which it constantly was, Hitler always managed to produce a big foreign policy victory, something that made the average German feel good about themselves.
But it was something he constructed. It wasn't something he actually did, right?
No, there was things he did. There was very much things he did, but there was, usually all he had to do was violate something from the Versailles Treaty.
That's kind of what I mean in terms of he just constructs it in terms of it being like, oh, look at that, we're gonna fuck them. We're gonna make a huge army no matter what the fuck they say. Yeah.
Exactly. And the regular people would be like, well, yeah, well, why shouldn't we have an army? Like, and even people in other countries would be like, yeah, we went too far with the Treaty of Versailles. Why shouldn't Germany have an army? Like, everybody's got an army. Why shouldn't Germany have one?
And he used it wrong.
Because their memory's fucking short.
Well, when Hitler did something like that, like, for example, like he expanded the military, even though the Versailles Treaty prohibited the Germans from having a force larger than 100,000 men. When Hitler did something like that, even the Germans who didn't really like him would say the same shit that I've heard people say today, again and again. They say, like, Phil, like, I don't really like him, or like, there's things that he says, but he's getting stuff done. So, like, just stop being so fucking hysterical. It's like you got, like, Hitler derangement syndrome or something.
Well, it's the belittling of the thing. I get it. We're in very different set of circumstances than Germany was at the time. But again, what we just said, we should really be super on the ball about it getting even remotely close.
Yeah. And when you just see the same, like when you have like 2 or 3 things, coincidence. Like 20 or 30 things, that's a comparison.
And we're pointedly pointing them out just to show you that, again, it's not that the current administration is Nazis.
No.
They want to be Nazis. And that's an entirely something different. There's a different thing that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Even just one fucking thing needs to be stopped.
Sure. And it's sort of the thing that we talk about, like with cults, like how over and over again, cult leaders somehow like instinctively know how to form a cult, how to control people. There's just something about it, and that's sort of what's happening again.
They get the gears of a cult. They understand when to slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up.
But they're just seeing people notice how humans respond to things, and if you're of a certain mind, then things will go in a certain way. And this is what we're looking at now. It's like minds doing the same thing.
Yeah, but not Nazi Germany, but they are the worst.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now, under Walter Wust's leadership, the Ahnenerbe doubled in size in just 2 years. They moved into a massive mansion in Berlin and increased the amount of staff and researchers dedicated to alternate histories and Nazi religion to just over 100. As far as who paid for all this, Himmler set up a foundation using taxpayer money. But the Ahnenerbe also depended on donors, supposedly respectable corporations who wanted to stay on the Nazis' good side, just like today's corporations make donations to the current administration to curry favor.
Or fire people in order to get the president to say hello, to acknowledge them, which we've never dealt with before.
Yeah. Or, do what people in the administration say to do in order to get deals, pushed through.
Yeah.
But back in Nazi Germany, these were big companies that gave money to the Ahnenerbe, companies that still exist today. For example, tens of thousands of Reichsmarks were donated to Ahnenerbe research by BMW.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They made a bunch of the cars, too.
Yeah.
One of the saddest
and
things.
A lot of, I believe, didn't BMW also make a ton of engines for the planes, or was that Mercedes-Benz?
I don't remember. But
one of the two.
God, though, it is just sad to watch Himmler just driving those just beautiful Mercedes, man. It's just driving around, and I'm just and you're like, ooh, it's a good whip.
Yeah. Siemens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they get involved with the Nazis too?
Probably.
A lot of semen in there.
Yeah.
Well, the point of all this is that German society was accepting Heinrich Himmler's Ahnenerbe as a respected establishment. Therefore, its ideas and theories were beginning to inform how Germans began to act. For example, Himmler published an article where he openly called upon the German race to preserve their heritage through violence, because that preservation was so incredibly important, you had to kill for it. And the people of Germany, after years of consuming Ahnenerbe propaganda in the media, they were inclined to listen. In this article, Himmler fully acknowledged that his black uniformed SS officers were causing fear and anxiety in every corner of Germany. But Himmler maintained that the SS was necessary. They were, quote, a merciless sword of justice that would guarantee the survival of future Germanic generations.
They also were told amongst themselves. So the SS would be frightening in the front, but the SS would the way he would lead them is to be like, when you go out, your frame of mind is you're helping.
Yeah.
When you arrive, you help. SS help people. We're helping the German people. We're helping people. We're reminding people what makes you a good Aryan is by doing these things.
If they continually compare Jews to snakes, why did they name them after something a snake says?
And that's why we still got one Jew around.
It's always good to have fun. No dance. Bow, 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 dance.
Yeah, I did want to kill him, but now every time he makes me chuckle.
I know. He got 6 more days. You keep this going, and you'll be the talent in front of the showers.
Now, concerning the survival of the German people, Lebensraum was not the only Leben Himmler was obsessed with. There was also the infamous Lebensborn program, the so-called Fount of Life.
Fount!
Founded in 1935 and inspired by the American eugenics movement, this secret group had the goal of greatly increasing the number of children who met Himmler's exacting standards for racially pure and healthy Aryan boys and girls.
You sure it's not the labia's born?
No, man. They got to trim them back and get the proper blonde curls. Unfortunately, yeah. They trim the lips because the curls actually form when the head's first out of the foyer, the vagina, the mudroom of the vagina.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Roast Beef Curtain Club.
That's where I'm dancing at the Roast Beef Club.
Well, amongst other duties, Lebensborn provided unmarried German women who became pregnant with assistance by moving them into maternity homes run by the SS. These women were, let's say, encouraged to give up their children to racially pure Aryan parents, often SS officers, who would raise their children instead. In this same spirit, the SS also ran orphanages that would foster Aryan children out to quote-unquote worthy families. But these children were often not orphans. Many times, these kids had been kidnapped from their biological families and quote-unquote re-educated before being given over to an SS couple.
And what, their parents would get sent to the camps because they hid somebody or something?
Either because they hid someone, or they might have been communists, they might have been leftists, they might have been just killed. You know,
they might have just not looked correct. Literally, they were a shame on their own child, and they just didn't want them there anymore.
This happened a lot in Poland. You know, it happened a ton in Poland. Actually.
A lot of blondes in Poland.
Yeah.
How do they feel about redheads?
Fine.
Yeah,
totally fine.
It depends on where you're from.
Yeah,
it depends on where you're born.
It's a lot of it is more about the shape of your skull than it is about the color of your hair.
It's a lot of that. Well, that's how you decide who's perfectly Aryan.
Yeah, like it's phrenology.
That's when you get into the nuts and bolts of who was an SS officer.
Yeah. Well, Lebensborn, however, did not just concern itself with births. They were also the only people in Germany who could legally perform abortions. They performed forced abortions on those who were deemed unworthy of the Aryan race, while all other abortions in Nazi Germany were strictly illegal. But on the more proactive side of the program, women who gave birth to the most Aryan children were given awards by the state. And in 1936, Himmler announced that every SS man would be given a special Nazi brooch to present to their wife after they gave birth.
Wow, women be brooching.
Yeah.
Women love a fucking brooch. When I want to fucking get my dick sucked, I know I come home from the brooch store.
You brooch out.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
I love hanging out with my brooch.
This attitude, however, got far more serious in October of 1939.
Same as mine.
This is, of course, just before the Nazis invaded Poland. And this inspired Himmler to issue an order that all SS men had to conceive children before going into battle. But the strangest part of the Lebensborn story, and I'm only saying this to avoid a flood of did-you-know emails, is that one member of the legendary pop group ABBA was a Lebensborn child born to a Norwegian mother who had been impregnated by one of Himmler's loyal SS men. So we got that out of the way, right?
And honestly, it's why, ABBA's pretty good.
ABBA's incredible. I'm actually a very big ABBA fan. I love ABBA.
Ed, guess which one's the daughter of the Nazis?
Is it the lady up top?
Yeah. It's that lady with the mustache. They make them different in Stockholm.
Now, one of the things that's essential to keep in mind is that almost every single thing that the Nazis were doing here, from Lebensborn to the Ahnenerbe, it was all about either preparing the German people for war or making sure that there were plenty of people willing to fight and die in war. As such, at the same time that Himmler was managing Ahnenerbe expeditions all over the world, he was also taking orders from Hitler to prepare his men in the SS for the inevitability of total war with the Western powers. Because at this point, there's still a lot of people in the Wehrmacht, the regular German army, who are like, no war. We can't win. We can't do it.
We just did this.
Yeah, we just did. Yeah. There's still a bunch of treaties, and there's still like a bunch of like tripwires. Like you invade this person, then you got both France and Britain on your ass. We can't beat them both at the same. And it's just there's a lot of guys, but Himmler is one of the guys that's like, yes, war. Let's do it. Let's go. I'll do anything.
And he knows it's going to take a lot of bodies.
Yeah. By March of 1938, Hitler was pressing for the invasion and annexation of Austria. And Himmler, never one to let an opportunity for a new outfit pass him by, he got to work designing special gray SS uniforms to mark the occasion.
Hey, different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You got to change it up.
Is there any reason for it?
No, he just thought like, oh my God, it's going to be so cool. I want a new uniform. We could just be marching here with these black uniforms. Everybody's seen us in these so many times. Let's get some gray ones.
LRH understood this implicitly, and he understood this, which is idea of you could make a loser feel amazing by putting them in an amazing uniform.
Yeah.
And you can make them. And so what he did is like, these are all, again, they seem... Everybody talks about this. It seems very shallow and dumb, right? It seems very like... But no, it's all a part of the plan. When you give them a new uniform, it's a new ritual. It's a new re-up. It's a new commitment. Every single time you give them a new piece of merch.
And meth.
Yes, literally. Every single time you give them a new piece, it's a new... All right, I still like this. Yeah, I like this. Okay, yeah, new uniform, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, new boot goofing.
But uniforms were not the only thing that Himmler had done to pave the way for Germany to invade and annex Austria, which of course was number one on Hitler's to-do list in the coming conquest of Europe. First you take Austria, then you get Czechoslovakia, and then we'll talk about Poland. See, during the early 1930s, Austria was ruled by a chancellor with the incredibly ridiculous name of Engelbert Dollfuss. And I really don't know if I can come up with a better roast other than he very much looks like a guy named Engelbert Dollfuss.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's Simple Jack.
His eyes are uneven.
Oh my God, it's fucking...
Definitely looks easy to conquer. Yeah,
that's the character. That's I Am Sam.
Yeah, you just give him a box of yo-yos and you're in.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's Mickey Rooney from the Milky Life.
He looks like a man named Engelbert Dollfuss. I can't just whatever you're picturing. Like, that's what he is.
I wish you could see this picture because this is the voice. You like my hat? Yeah. I got a new hat. I dropped it on some feathers. Get some gum on it.
He literally has a feather in his cap because he only eats macaroni.
I got a little sticky stuff on my head. No, there's a feather on it. It's like my head's a bird.
God, he looks like Tiny Sloth.
My name's Engelbert. You can call me by what my friends call me, Engelbert.
No wonder Hitler didn't want to be Austrian.
No, Hitler wanted to be German more than anything.
That's probably why he wanted to take over Austria first, because that was his hometown.
Well, yeah, it was where he was from. Well, Hitler.
Wait till you happens when Taylor Swift takes over Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
Well, Hitler was born on the border of Austria and Germany. On the Austrian side, his father was a border agent. So Hitler had always seen himself as racially German, like, even though he was Austrian, but he also he never could shake the Austrian thing either. Like that was, I always said they called him a jumped up corporal. Like really what they would say, he was a jumped up Austrian corporal. What's he doing here in Germany? So Hitler very much had the motivation to take Austria, because if he took Austria, then he's not Austrian anymore. He's German, because Austria is now a part of Germany.
I find it interesting. All these people wake up and they're like, I'm not Aryan, but I feel Aryan.
Yeah.
Like it's this idea of but I should be though, right?
Well, that's what I mean. It's all about what feels right. And that's what all this entire episode is about. That's the theme of this episode. Is like whatever feels right, that's what the truth is, and that's what we're gonna run with, no matter what happens.
Truth groovy.
Yeah. Now, Engelbert Dollfuss was doing some real weird shit in Austria as leader.
Yeah, I bet.
He'd been inspired by Italian fascism to form a kind of Catholic corporatist movement where the Catholic Church had control over both the government and Austria's businesses. This alliance, Dollfuss believed, between the Catholic Church and Austria could be used to resist the Nazis, because he did actually, in fact, hate the Nazis. But little did Dollfuss know that Heinrich Himmler was making plans to take him down without taking down Austria as a whole. See, it's long been debated how much the Austrian people really wanted to be a part of Germany, because we've all seen the newsreels of Hitler rolling into Austria through throngs of adoring crowds. You have women throwing flowers, people are crying. But this was actually a Nazi tactic. It's a sort of pufferfish move, where they would use intimidation, threats, and propaganda to give the impression that far more people supported the Nazi Party than they really did, which made the people who didn't support them feel like resistance was hopeless, which it wasn't, and it isn't.
And again, it was much easier to do that stuff without the internet.
Yeah.
The internet shows you, right? Because, like, how many times I don't want to keep bringing it up, but now we have the internet that can actually show you the truth of what someone's saying. Mm-hmm. And it's just hard because now it's about whack-a-mole, right? It's all about constantly fighting it with misinformation. But we at least know you can see the truth on the internet if you'd like to.
Yeah, you could see how many people showed up to the birthday parade.
Yes,
exactly.
If you'd like to.
But even though the annexation of Austria was ultimately accomplished without warfare, it was not done bloodlessly. See, regardless of how many average Austrians wanted Nazi rule, Austria did have a sizable Nazi population. Through the SS, Heinrich Himmler had been supplying weapons and dynamite to the Austrian Nazis so they could engage in a campaign of terror by blowing up railways, power stations, and government buildings. And that's not to mention the straight-up murder of Austrians who supported Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss. But while Engelbert Dollfuss was feeling reasonably secure...
Yeah, I got a good new seat.
I got a new lock on my door, but the problem is I keep forgetting to lock it.
Because sometimes I locked it from the inside and then I can't get out.
Don't tell
And I
them.
had to climb out the window.
Don't tell the Nazis about that, though.
Look at this fucking man. Look at this fucking moron.
It looks like someone's holding ice cream in front of him.
Yeah, wait, why don't you just give it to me? Why are you holding it? Why are you not eating it? You give it to me.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Well, Engelbert Dollfuss didn't know about a concept that has in the years since been referred to as working towards the Fuhrer. And this is a very important concept with the Nazis, a very fascinating concept. So as I said in the last episode, it really can't be stressed enough how incredibly lazy Hitler actually was. And I'm not just talking about lazy intellectually, like he didn't want to read briefings and he'd rather just read his newspapers all day. Hitler slept till noon almost every day.
That's the life.
Yeah.
Motherfucker slept through D-Day.
It's boring.
Because
Sucks.
nobody wanted to wake him up to tell him, hey, the Allies have invaded France. We need to get our shit together. And that was something that he should have known.
Well, it's because the office culture was toxic.
Yes.
I never knew that Hitler slept through D-Day.
He did. He was up in the Berghof and he was on vacation at his retreat. And, the D-Day, the Allies landed on the beaches of Normandy and Hitler was here. And they're like, well, we can't wake him up. Don't wake him up because he's going to be
grumpy.
He'll be really grumpy. He's going to be really mad if you wake him up. So and then when he woke up, he went like, they told him and he went like, it's fine. And then walked away.
Didn't they know we were coming?
No, absolutely not.
We won all that. That's actually, I love the story of that. It's for another podcast, it's a military history podcast.
Yeah.
But it's actually very interesting because we got him good.
We got him good. They had no idea. It was a complete and total surprise. It's one of the greatest. There's a reason why there's millions of books and TV shows and movies made about it.
It's one of the best military movies of all time.
Yeah, it really is. But the thing is about Hitler's laziness is that it greatly informed how the Nazi Party worked. Since Hitler was so lazy, Nazis often took matters into their own hands and did things that they thought Hitler would want done, working towards the Fuhrer, as it were. And it's very likely that the Austrian Nazis were working towards the Fuhrer in the years prior to the invasion. In July of 1934, a relatively small group of Austrian Nazis, like 7 or 8 guys, they stormed the Austin Chancellery and shot Engelbert Dollfuss to death during an attempted coup.
You guys here to take me to the park? Hey, what you guys doing? You guys look all angry, right? You guys here to play baseball or something?
You say there's chocolate in this tube?
Yeah, wrap your lips around it. You just suck on it?
Well, the coup, of course, failed. But after Dollfuss was killed, Hitler ordered the Nazi leaders to accelerate the German war machine to full production because Hitler could feel that the time for war was approaching. That was 1934. By 1935, Hitler expanded the size of the German army to 500,000 men in the aforementioned defiance of the Treaty of Versailles, which, in theory, should have been stopped by the other great powers of Europe. But since they were still traumatized by World War I, Britain and France merely grumbled, and they did not act. They also did not act when Germany moved troops to the French border, again in violation of the Treaty of Versailles. Now, Hitler would have absolutely backed down, and he would have been humiliated if France would have moved just 1 unit in opposition. The Nazi troops were actually under orders from Hitler himself to retreat if this happened. But again, France did not act.
They didn't take him. They seriously, they didn't take him seriously.
Well, no, they didn't. It's not that they didn't take him seriously, is that they didn't want to do anything that could bring them even an inch closer to returning to the war. Then that was what it was all about, is that they did not want in any world to return to the trenches and what they had just gone through. Everyone remembered it and everyone hated it. And similarly, the governments of Europe again huffed and puffed when Hitler annexed Austria, but nothing meaningful was done to stop him. In fact, England all but facilitated Germany's subsequent annexation of Czechoslovakia in September of 1938 with the Munich Agreement and Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's now infamous proclamation of peace for all time. When he got out, him at the fucking airport holding up the piece of paper like because he just averted everything.
Yeah, because he gave Hitler he basically said, we won't do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe he was talking about peace as in piece of paper.
Yeah.
Peace of our time. It took 2 hours of my time to receive this worthless piece of paper.
What all this added up to was that Hitler was starting to see that nobody was going to stop him. He could rearm Germany. He could amass troops on Germany's borders. He could annex countries. He could do anything he wanted to the German people, and the rest of the world would do little more than give him a stern tut-tut. This was, of course, very good news for Heinrich Himmler, who was waiting in the wings with the rest of the SS for the inevitable invasion of Poland, where Lebensraum would finally be put into practice. And to ensure that Eastern Europe was well and truly cleared of all so-called undesirables, Heinrich Himmler would deploy perhaps the most evil group of men to ever walk this earth. They called them the Einsatzgruppen, and it's with their incredibly harrowing story that we'll continue our series next week.
Man, it's crazy that they took over Austria and Czechoslovakia and no one cared. But when they went into Poland, everyone's like, all right, this is too much.
Well, there's military reasons.
Yeah. I know, but Austria and Czechoslovakia are probably like, what, no one gives a fuck about us?
Well, I mean, with Austria, there was, like I said, they said, okay, fine, we'll do it. Because Austria thought, okay, we're going to be a part of Germany. But what Austria didn't realize was that what the real motivation for annexing Austria was, and for annexing Czechoslovakia, resources. Because the German economy is in the shitter. They don't have the resources. They need they need food from Austria. Yeah. They need Czechoslovakia's factories. They need these things. So they say yeah, you're going to be a part of Germany. And then once, Austria is in Germany and part of Germany for, really just within a few months, they're like, oh no, shit! We're not a part of this at all. We are subjects to these Nazis. We're here. We're a fucking feed bag. We're not a part of this at all. Fuck me. This is a really bad idea.
Did they turn a lot of them into soldiers too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They killed a lot of them too.
Yeah.
Just know that whenever a Nazi offers you a job, it's not going to be stable. Go to Patreon.com.
Unless you're a horse.
Unless you're a horse.
And then you better get bigger.
Yeah. Truly. Because if you look at a lot of administrations, right, it was recently, for no reason, I was reading about Pol Pot just to laugh. And it's that was only 5 years. Mm-hmm. And this was only a certain period of time. So just know these guys burn out. They do burn out. Just remember that, little Nazis out there. Your job isn't safe with the Nazis because they fire you too. And then when they come for you, they're going to be just as mean to you as all the other people you were mean to as well.
The 1,000-year Reich lasted 12 years.
Yep. And we're still talking about it.
And the last few years were quite awful.
Yeah.
It's not like the last couple, it's not like 1943 to 1945.
We're fine.
Like, good.
Yeah.
It's like, they weren't like fun times to be in, I don't know, Dresden.
Oh, yeah. Same thing when you go to Cambodia. It's because for some reason these guys don't want to let go.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the reason why I go to BetterHelp, because it really teaches me how to let go. You got to get your help there. Now, if you know a Nazi, send them our code for LastPod50 at BetterHelp. Patreon.com/LastPodcast on the left. Pay to watch us talk. Pay to watch us flop.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to love it. And you see last stream on the left live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. PST.
That's right. And you can also interact with us live on the chat during the stream every Tuesday. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can also follow us at LP on the left for TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff to see fun clips from the show and to see where we're going to be playing next year, to see all of our dates. Eddie, let them know what's happening.
Tomorrow we're in Oakland.
Fuck yeah.
So come fucking party, Oakland. We are ready for your goddamn asses.
I love sweet, sweet Oakland. Come on out, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. Bring me some goddamn food, too, you piece of shit. And then November 29th, we're going to be in Akron, Ohio. December 12th and 13th, Portland, Oregon. January 31st, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. February 28th, Austin, Texas. March 13th, Indianapolis, Indiana. And April 25th, Cincinnati, Ohio. I can't wait for all you nasty natties to come out and see me. May 29th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. June 27th, Grand Rapids, Michigan. July 17th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And July 18th, Oklahoma City. And also, I gotta say, Henry and I are doing the Crime Wave cruise in a couple weeks, and I added shows in Florida before and after. So on November 2nd, I'm going to be in Miami,
You're
and
completely
on
insane.
November 8th, I'm going to be in Orlando doing the Disney show again, Dead Men Tell Some Tales. So go find tickets to that.
And that's a great show.
EddieTunes.com.
Except I won't there being able to be Walt Disney, so it won't be the same. But
You won't be Disney this time, unless I fucking make you record a bunch.
We'll see. We shall see. Go on YouTube, LBN TV, someplace underneath, Foreign Report, No Dogs in Space, all those shows.
Can I please let me go sleep?
Yes, it's time to go to bed.
You go to the camp! Hail Satan. Good night, everyone.
Okay.
And Hail Waterloo, I guess.
No,
Hey, we're not with them.
I'll give you a go in Hail Sophie Schul. And the Sophie Schul and the White Rose.
Sophie Schul and the White Rose. Who are they?
Amazing punk band that are out of Bristol, Connecticut.
We might talk about them here in a couple episodes. The resistance movement within Germany was a teenage girl beheaded by Heinrich Himmler.
Oh, see, now I'm not going to have anything to hail next episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll probably be episode 6.
Hail Kamasi Washington.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. I love Kamasi.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Hey, listeners. Marcus, Ed, and Henry here with a little bit of an announcement.
You loving all the episodes of Last Podcast on the Left lately? Well, listen, now you can get even more from us.
Squeeze it out of us. If you want to hear new episodes ad-free and unlock access to Last Podcast on the Left 7 days early, subscribe to SiriusXM Podcast Plus on Apple Podcasts or visit SiriusXM.com/Podcast Plus to start your free trial today. Do it.